Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. I've been out of action with a throat infection, but we're back straight into the GSL group. I woke up bright and early this morning after a long night's rest. I'm feeling mostly better. We'll see how well I hold up over these casts, but I'm just going to cast everything from this group because I avoided spoilers. I went to sleep as this group started, and I can't wait to see what goes on. We've got MARU in the bottom right side of the map, SOO in the top left as well, and it is going to be Cure and BYUN in the other match here in the round of 8 Group A. So I think it's a really good match for MARU. When I looked at this group, I kind of laughed because MARU has not lost to SOO since like 2016 or something like that, maybe earlier. It's basically, if you look at their overall results, people are like, oh, SOO beats MARU sometimes. He like has a 25% win rate. That's not as bad as I thought. And then you realize like, yeah, those wins were before MARU was MARU. They were from a very long time ago. 2014 mostly, 2015, that sort of time period. So SOO unfortunately has an issue. MARU is not only very good at cheesing, which is and hitting weird timing attacks, which is kind of a weak point of SOO because he does play quite greedy, but MARU also has the best defensive late game of all time, whereas SOO doesn't really have a late game to be spoken of. He's got one of the best mid games. He's very good at swarming. His injects and his mechanics are perfect. But SOO does not have any technical finesse. He's not really a good spellcaster user. So it's all about getting the kill on MARU before, I would say, the 14 to 15 minute mark. If it goes past that stage, I think it's going to be nearly impossible for SOO to beat MARU. The moment MARU decides to just build command centers and planetaries and tanks and ghosts and all that sort of stuff, I don't see SOO having much of a chance. That being said, I'm not counting SOO out because he has been looking quite strong lately. And yes, he got eliminated recently quite early in Dallas, but that was to Harston. Protoss players gave him trouble there. And this is a different matchup where I think his old school skills scale through a little bit better, whereas the modern ZVP, I think, is also a matchup which is very difficult for SOO. We'll see. So far, 3 Reaper opening. Looks like a 4th Reaper's come out as well. Normally, you want to try and get the hatchery kill or pick off a few queens, force a lot of Zerglings if you're going to go 4 Reaper. These queens are already getting quite damaged. And remember, they're off creep, so they can't transfuse right now. Zergling's starting to take some damage right now. Come on. Nice grenade. Good pullback on the weak Reaper as well. I gotta say, SOO's doing a pretty good job with his micro, but as these kills start to go down, I've always felt like defending the third base is a bit of a trap here, and you should just give it up and retake it later. That's what Solar does in this scenario. SOO's out here, though, and yes, he's got Link Speed finishing, but does he have any Zerglings? I mean, he's got 16 more Lings coming. But I think MARU just goes home now. And if he gets those Reapers home, you're now up 27 workers, 3 command centers almost finished. Against what? 23 drones. Yeah, sure, you've got your 3rd hatchery alive, but you've only got 1 queen injecting. A 3rd hatchery is just not worth that much. The Reapers make it home, and SOO here, I would say this is one of the worst responses to this opening. Based off of what I know from watching Solar, who a few months ago when Solar was really peaking, had the best responses against these 2-Rax Reaper builds. I know he's made a few slip-ups recently, but I still feel like Solar showed us kind of the gold standard. Him and Serral as well, I guess. But the thing is, we more often than not we don't see it as much with Serral because Serral slaps it down with a very different opening. With a 15-15, he rarely plays the hatch gas pool against it. So you just don't see this scenario with Serral nearly as much. Lots of Overlords building there. SOO did hit a little bit of a supply block, but he's back up on 4 queens. He's injecting well. Notice, oh, the Reapers and the Hellions getting caught out here, but good grenade by MARU. He'll lose the Reaper, but SOO wants more. And he's going to get a Reaper and a Hellion. Not bad. Good to get some value out of these units. I'm surprised MARU turned and decided to fight there, but he's trying to bait him in almost. Oh, SOO's going for it, but he's going to lose so many Zerglings. This is just really bad, man. SOO, look at the units lost tab. So bad for him. More than 2-to-1 trading in favor of MARU. Still building Hellions. He's got double Marine production, and his 1-1 upgrades are on the way. Evo chambers have not even started. Remember, SOO only has 4 queens. He's bringing 3 of them to the front. They don't even have transfusers. There's very little creep right now, and he's in so much trouble. He's going to transfer these workers out to the 3rd base, and he's trying to build more queens now, but he's building them so late in the game, which means they will not have transfusers ready by the time the Marines and the medevacs come across the map. That being said, Starport does seem kind of late for MARU, so it's going to be a while before his Hellbat Marine timing hits against SOO. SOO needs either Roaches or Banelings to deal with that. Queens, as I said, will not have much transfuse energy ready. And basically the timing is when these 2 medevacs get across the map, guys. It's going to be 1-1 with it as well. Wow, it's a Hellbat 1-1 stim marine timing. Double Evo Chambers on the way. Su's being greedy to try and catch up. He's got the 4th base on the way in the north. Su's done a spectacular job of rebuilding his work account. You gotta give credit where it's due. Su's mechanics are fantastic. But 16 worker advantage. Is that going to make up for the fact that right now there's no Baneling Nest? He's got his 1-1 started. Where's that Baneling Nest? He's going to need a lot of Banelings to clear the Hellbats. Then his Mass Zergling might be able to deal with the Marines. But this timing will be hitting before he's ready. Here we go. This is what I was talking about. Medevac's come out. He's going to boost across. He will be morphing Hellbats with this and going for it. There's only 5 Hellions, which is not too many. Lair starts up. Still no Baneling Nest or Roach Warren, though. There we go. Finally going down for Su. Oh, there's no way that's ready in time. Marines are unloading. Overlord's going to go down on the pillar. 15 worker advantage for Su. It's about to be a 17 worker advantage, but he's just got nothing to defend. 6 queens and 26 Zerglings. No transfusers, as we mentioned, because of that weak start, and that is just game. There's just nothing to defend. Without Banelings or Roaches, without a massive queens with energy. We've seen people defend this timing with pure queen. That's when they have 12, 13 queens, not 6 queens with no energy. That is a great opening for MARU. Heavy pressure. As I said, sometimes Su's a little bit greedy. MARU is exceptionally strong in the early game and the late game. And he takes game 1 easily. Alright, going into game 2. MARU with a very simple, clean, crisp start there off a 4 Reaper opening. Big overcommitment, unfortunately, for Su trying to defend the 3rd base. And off a hatch gas pool, that is the weaker response. Now, what I find really fascinating, guys, is that Korean players have not studied and learnt Serral's 15-15 variations, because MARU, honestly, I want to make a point here about why MARU isn't as bad against Serral as you all think he is. And that point is the reason why he's so bad against Serral's 15-15 is even though it keeps trouncing him over and over again, 4-0 in multiple finals. And he just really, like all through Masters Coliseum last year, he could not handle it. I did a breakdown, obviously. You guys know my video, 2 hours of the nerdiest talk about StarCraft with Serral after Katowice, where you heard me gushing about all of those variations of the builds. And you heard Serral get very excited because he's like, oh, you could tell he kind of didn't realize that anyone really had been studying all those builds he'd been doing. I'm like, dude, when you keep destroying MARU, yeah, I'm going to study your build orders and look at why they work. But what I noticed is none of the Koreans have learned how to do it. Now, to be fair, most players all around the world haven't learned how to do it. And Serral's put in an immense amount of time in the last year and a half over learning how to do those builds. But when you see the results and you know MARU's the #1 Terran in your region, I really feel like the Zergs are letting themselves down in Korea by not learning those builds. Especially against these 2-Rax Reaper wall-off builds. Notice, what's the meta against Serral? Don't go 2-Rax Reaper on the low ground because it doesn't do anything. You fall behind every game when you do this opening. It never works out. And that's something where I really feel the players could take a lot more advantage if they were to do that. Now, interestingly, guys, we are going to see a 3rd hatchery opening here for Su, but it's gasless. So he's going to try and play a Roach build. This is kind of Dark's been pushing this sort of play a bit. Can work out quite well, but you're never going to defend the 3rd base. So building the 3rd hatchery makes no sense if he goes like 4 or 5 Reapers, I think. I think as long as you're willing to give up the 3rd, it might be okay. And it's more important to actually build a 3rd and 4th queen than it is to defend this base. Yeah, I don't know, man. If he tries to commit to defending that base, this could go really bad for Su. 2nd gas goes down. Okay. Reaper's jumping into the main. Queen is out. Question is, how much creep tumor, how much transfuse, how much inject, how much transfuse. Inject in the main, creep tumor on the natural. Interesting. So he's going to get some creep out there towards that 3rd base. Su wants to defend the 3rd. He's building 4 queens. He's building an extra overlord right now. So he's gone to 26 drones. Building an extra overlord as well. And he's got Lings on the high ground. 2 more queens are about to pop out. I like that. Dodges the grenade. Nicely done. It is going to be 4 Reapers yet again. Okay, this actually could work out quite well if Su doesn't lose the queens. Oh, this is where it gets scary, though. Oh. Okay, he's got 1 queen on the left with the Lings helping. Queen is going to be able to slowly defend this. Good Ling positioning by Su. Gets rid of one of the Reapers. I actually quite like this for Su. If he can not lose too many drones. 1 drone goes down. There is a queen in the main base. She's in position. And these Reapers going to get another one. Oh, the drones are cutting off the rally, but dude, there's so many drone kills going down. I think that might be worth it for MARU. 4 drones do go down. That being said, Su's droning really well during this, but he gets another one on the way out. 5 drones going down. Oh, man. And look, he's blocking him from building the gas. Gonna have to go for a spore trick, but SOO doesn't do it, and that drone gets ripped apart. MARU all over this opening yet again. 3rd command center to double engineering bay. Now, this is a super funky build for MARU, guys. That's double engineering bay before factory, before anything else. So he's just going to play a big, giant mass bio play. MARU's going to look to be getting a massive upgrade advantage. And often this leads into a really nice kind of 2-2 timing attack for potential win condition. Yeah. Twitch chat is pointing out that, and Eon Blue, that if you jumped up the ledge, that wouldn't have been that good. But by going straight to the left, going around the queens was actually the smart move there, and I absolutely agree. Oh, look at this. Marines come forward. This is pushing SOO's vision into a bit of a corner. SOO finally building a Roach Warren and a Gas Geyser here. He's got 2 gases, in fact. He's on 43 drones versus 35. I feel like everything looks kind of okay for SOO until I remember the fact that those upgrades are so far ahead. And the fact that he's still losing creep tumors to just this very light pressure. This is so awkward now, because I'm like, oh, wait a second, like, dude, the explosion of upgrades is going to be crazy. As soon as the factory's done, you start an armory, you go straight for 2-2, and I imagine you go probably 8 racks off this. Oh, we need that armory, bruv. It's going to go 3 barracks. He wants to go to 5 barracks before the armory starts. Probably a slight delay on 2-2 beginning, but not the end of the world. You do need a factory before you can start the armory. And you need an armory before you can start 2-2. Armory is cheaper now, guys. Creep tumors are going down. Armory does go down in the back for MARU. So, yes, you can see his build's lining up pretty well. That's 20... Yeah, it's about a 15-second delay on 2-2. It's fine. Still miles ahead. I mean, Evos haven't even started yet for SOO. SOO's stuck on 3 base. He feels like a bit paranoid. Yeah, he's up 13 workers, but... Zergling goes in. Sees the 3rds landed. That should really light a fire under your butt to go take a 4th. Yeah, so I'm like, dude, you need a 4th. If Terran's 3rd's already landed, you need that 4th base coming up. 8 roaches are out. 19 Marines with 1-1 in stim. MARU is doing such a good job of keeping up the pressure here. He's got 3 more reactors coming down. His armory's about to finish. How quick is he on the 2-2, guys? Look at that. Immediately starts +2 attack. Doesn't quite have the money for +2 armor, but he starts it a few seconds later. Now, Link speed's on the way for SOO. You guys know how I feel about Roach into Link transitions. I think they can be really good, but the awkward thing is when you're maxed out and you're trying to get into heavy Baneling, but you're stuck on mostly Roaches and Ravagers, there's an awkward moment. Carapace needs to start so quickly here. SOO, though, he starts range first, not the most important upgrade. He really needs that Carapace. He's already so far behind on these upgrades, man. Oh gosh, if he doesn't realize he's... Oh god, he's making Ravagers. He has no idea. SOO thinks he's got Carapace started. These upgrades are going to be devastating because assuming MARU doesn't trade out until 170, 180 supply, if he has 2-2 and you don't have Carapace, it's game over. Like, there is just nothing you can do there. And SOO not realizing Carapace hasn't started, going to cost him big time. He's got to protect those Ravagers. Good pullback on the Ravagers. Loses a couple Roaches, but those are low-value units. Not a big deal. 7 Queens are out. That's the only anti-air. SOO has a good work account, but... Oh, gosh. I mean... Banelings don't care about upgrades that much, but the Carapace will still matter for them actually making contact with the enemy, hey? A couple of drones going down and Ravagers. MARU happy to trade out there. It's on 67 workers. Oh, he's going to keep being annoying. This is... Oh, my gosh. Oh, I think he just realized that SOO thought it was over. He grabs like 5 more workers. That's massive. Now, back at home, there's no 4th command center, guys. But notice 2-2's almost done. He's gone up to 8 barracks. +1 vehicle weapons is here. I'd love to see MARU take a 4th command center on location behind this. He's got a lot of Marauders mixed in. Notice how off the 5 barracks, guys, he has 2 tech labs, 3 reactors. I wouldn't be surprised to see 2 more tech labs, 1 reactor here. I would not be surprised to see that. Carapace finally has started, but it's so late. That means he's right now on 1-0 upgrades against 2-2. The Bio Army shouldn't commit here, though. MARU may be overcommitting a little bit. He's got to wait for his tanks and everything else. 4th command center on the way. Mass Bio coming in. Oh, he's actually building Marines. Wow, I really thought he'd be adding add-ons here. But Maru's going to go for a big push. 9 Marauders, 30 Marines, 2 tanks, 14 Roaches, 4 Ravagers, 32 Zerglings. Baneling speed's almost done. This is that awkward point in the game. We're getting close to it right now, and especially with the upgrades, it's terrible right now for SOO. But also just supply-wise, quality of that supply-wise, very bad for SOO. Maru confident going deep on creep right now. The creep spread could buy SOO a bit of time, as long as he's willing to give up this hatchery. I think this could go quite well for SOO. Just cancel. Oh, does cancel it at the last second. He's got a new hatchery up north. 14 more banelings are morphing. Will he be able to get those on top, though? Especially with the concussive shells. Advancing this army's crazy. Maru's push is kind of insane, guys. He's going to get surrounded pretty bad here if SOO sets it up. But SOO's not setting up a surround. He's coming all from one side. A little bit of a lazy fight from SOO. I like that he baits his stim. SOO really needs to flank from that right and from this bottom left side to get on top of those tanks. Banelings rolling in on their own, mostly hitting just a few Marines and tanks. Marauders up front, soaking up a lot of these Banes. The Marines are standing and fighting. The tanks getting good shots off. Maru looking pretty stellar. Cleans up the first Banelings, only losing Marauders. He's still got 2 tanks in the back. And the thing is, you can just leave. As Maru, just unsiege, pick up your tanks and run away. He's going to keep fighting. I don't think he needs to keep fighting right now. He's going to choose to... Oh, I don't know, man. That's a lot of Ravager Baneling, but there's just not many Zerglings backing it up, is there? Yeah, Maru might be able to win the game right now. He's far ahead. SOO's up against the wall, but if SOO can somehow defend this, then he might be able to get back in the game. +2 Carapace has started. +1 Melee's on the way. Maru with an incredible tactical retreat. 4th Command Center is down. 5th Command Center building. 3-3 starting. +2 vehicle weapons. Oh, Banelings did connect a little bit with those Marines, but only a little bit. Oh, on the left as well. Just remember, every time you lose those Banelings, it's not free. Random panic biles going off for SOO, usually a sign of a player being a bit nervous. Well, not nervous, but spamming buttons, essentially, right? 2 Vipers on the way, Ultra Cavern as well. Guys, SOO's done a really good job of weathering the storm. He's only got 5 Queens, but if he can respread creep everywhere, and then manage to, like, defend 5 bases for a bit longer, he's up. He's up 8 workers. He's still way behind in upgrades, but over time, upgrade advantages disappear, assuming he starts +2 melee, which he needs to get going. SOO might be able to get back in this game. Maru, though, his trades have been excellent. Grabbing another 4 or 5 workers, picking up those Marines and just moving around. These guys should easily be able to deny this base as well. And the problem with Oceanborn is it's very good for late game Terran. And I remember what I said at the start of the series. SOO is already no match for Maru in the late game. It's one of the most, you know, one-sided sort of skill set differences you've got between the 2 players. A couple of extra parasitic bomb could be huge here. I like the split on the drop there for Maru, though, realizing that. Extra parasitic bomb would be nice, so you got to throw it down now, though. Oh, the Viper, don't lose the Viper, don't lose. Oh my god, he just lost his full energy Viper. Maru doesn't quite get the other one, though. He's pushing at the front at the same time. Banelings roll into the Marauders. The tanks are here. The bio's set up. Ling Bane, Roach, Ravager coming in from all sides, but it's coming in piecemeal. And it's mostly Ravagers on that left side. He's going to take out a few of these front tanks, but there's so many Marauders left over. And remember, look at those upgrades, guys. 3-3 against 1-1-1. +2 Carapace is about to kick in. But only after this massive 4,000 resource lost advantage has been established. Maru's taking a 5th base against a Zerg who's struggling on the defensive. The Roach Ravager coming in with the Zerglings. Bile starting to land across this front line. But good dodges with both the Medivacs and the Marines. And yes, even though these tanks are getting hit by Biles, it's such an expensive trade for SOO. Maru's supply is dropping a little bit here. Hold on. Viper with full energy. Don't lose the Viper, don't lose the Viper. Another Viper goes down for SOO. That's so unfortunate. Biles will take out the tank on the left. The Ultras may be saving the day. They don't quite have Kindness Plating, though. Every Ultra that goes down is very hard to replace. Maru actually chased all the way home, dude. What the hell? SOO's actually so good at just hanging on. His fights never look beautiful, do they? But his ability to keep producing under pressure, like whenever you look at a SOO game, the difference, and I think it's hard for you guys to realize because it looks like he's losing every fight, and he absolutely is, and that's kind of how SOO plays StarCraft. But he will lose every fight while macroing better than everyone else. So in the early stages, that's not getting supply blocked. It's hitting all of his injects. Later on, it's constantly producing units, morphing banelings, rebuilding queens, injecting with those queens. Like here, this queen just popped out. He's fighting. I bet he injects with that within 8 seconds. Anyways, Ultra Ling Bane running in on that right side. These Ultras catch a bunch of the bio in the middle. Nice little ambush there, but oh, the ghosts. Oh, no. Not quite able to get the planetary, and all those Ultras go down, and that was a huge mistake for SOO. Obviously, you're behind. You got to do some high-risk, high-reward maneuvers, but that actually is such a big cost because if he keeps those ultras alive, he's maxed. He can deny that bottom left base and look for a better fight in the opening. But until he gets Infestors out with Burrow Fungal, something which I don't know SOO knows how to use that or is very practiced with it, it's going to be hard. Oh, look at that. Look at that. MARU not even repairing, not even seeming to notice what's happening. His SCV is going to try to run out of there. Those ultras run in and take out that planetary. Really nice move. That's what I'm talking about. If you've got more units on the map, you can start doing these sort of moves. But these guys are chasing too deep. And they are now very damaged. Ultraling Bane catches the ghost though. MARU. Oh my god, MARU lost a few ghosts there, but he saves most of them, and that is all that matters. Without Corruptors on the map, without something to clean up those medevacs, you know, parasitic bombs coming in, they're going to slowly tickle them down, but it's only going to slowly deal the damage. And of course, the snipes. Every single time you turn to run away, those snipes punish those Ultralisks. Units lost time, still 7,500 resources in favor of MARU. But you know what, guys? This is MARU's modern ZVT. In case you guys are wondering what's the difference, notice there's not any orbitals. It's just the original 3 orbitals with 1 extra. And he basically doesn't actually build that huge late game bank. So he's playing a style where SOO can beat him in this style. I would argue it's not the smartest way to play against SOO, but it is just the style that MARU favors in the matchup right now. So MARU might be saying, this is the style I'm good at. This is what I've been practicing over the last 6 months. I'm going to play this. Why would I play a style, you know, the old turtle style? Even though that's better against SOO, I haven't practiced it in the last months. I've been focusing on this kind of just keep taking new bases, taking planetaries, and just having more army, sitting at 70 workers and just attack, 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 attack. It's a more aggressive kind of early late game style rather than the slow turtled up end game that he's famous for in the past. And ooh, Fungal Ultra Baneling rolls through, but there's just not enough behind it. If he had a few more Banes to connect on these ghosts right now, actually, wait, the ghosts are out of energy. Ooh, a snipe on the right takes that one down. And actually, that was a pretty damn decent fight for SOO. As I said, guys, this map, if you have a planetary here, you have tanks, libs, ghosts everywhere, you can actually do really well. But SOO, he's trying to get on top. Oh, he just can't quite break him. It feels like, dude, SOO, this is the thing about SOO. The way SOO fights, it is not finesse. It is all about sheer force. And it's surprisingly close despite that. And that goes to show, if SOO had a better start, playing this style, he absolutely could beat MARU. And that's because MARU's playing the style that's not as good against him. So I'm going to be a little critical and say MARU's winning this game. He's looking really good, but he's not playing as intelligently or as respectfully towards SOO as he really probably should be. And maybe that's because he thinks, whatever, I can beat SOO doing whichever style I want. But the best style for this map is Mega Turtle, and the best style against SOO is also Mega Turtle. So the fact that he's not choosing that style, to me, it's a little bit greedy. Oh, the Widowmine's going to be good. Oh, ghosts do take a few Banelings to the face, but the Widowmines are pretty good. The Spready's pretty good as well. The Ling Bane's washing out, and you can see SOO just doesn't have the numbers. Because he's not got a lot of... he's not a very cunning player, right? SOO doesn't, like, lure you in and then snatch in from behind. He doesn't sneak in all those attacks all that much. Great Ultra counterattack in the south, by the way. That's awesome. Massive damage from that Ultra. He kind of... You know he's gonna run headlong into your siege up and your spread. And MARU set a really nice spread up. I just want to watch that little high ground bait one more time. That was just so nicely done here, where it looked kind of scary. Then you just see the turret kind of just pull back and spread. And all the Ling Bane, it's like, man, if there's like a bit more Ling Bane, that works really well for SOO, but he just didn't have the numbers. The whole end of this game didn't have the numbers. MARU gets the 2-0, and he does it with flying colors. GG, well played, MARU. All right, straight into match 2. We've got BYUN in the bottom left side of the map going for a barracks gas opening against Kua in the top right side. Same for him, but no second gas for Cure, which means it's a 1-Rex expand, whereas BYUN is going for the second gas. Second gas allows you to get a faster factory, earlier tech units, a bit more map control, and that leads to you having the first 6-7 minutes of momentum, sometimes even 8 minutes, of having more Ravens, more tanks, or, it depends, because, or if you do some, maybe you could be the one doing some drop harassment, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of advantages you can get in that regard. Obviously, you'll be behind in workers, though. So if Kua can sort of weather the early storm of harassment, not get overwhelmed by Ravens interference matrixing all your tanks, then obviously Kua comes out on top. But Kua adopting a defensive stance and BYUN an aggressive one. No surprise, by the way, that BYUN... no surprise that BYUN isn't scouting. That's very standard for him. I don't understand why people think... RTS has to be so binary. So I don't understand why people think Stormgate means the end of StarCraft scene, says Narf. If I take the example of fighting games, we have the tournament with both old and new games, as long as people want to play. This is the sort of nuanced, nuanced take that is just disgusting. Get out of here with that, Narf. No. You got to understand, I was talking about this earlier, most StarCraft players don't understand that you're allowed to play more than one game. For them, StarCraft isn't so much a game that you enjoy playing as it is something that you're enslaved to grind 8 hours a day, every day, not even enjoying it, but simply because you have to, because the game's so good and you're such an elite strategic nerd, you just have to play the game all day, every day. And then I don't know. I'm just like, dude, just whatever new games come out, just play them, try them, have fun. Don't expect them to be... I'm with you. I'm like, it doesn't need to replace your other game. Like, just try new games, man. I was looking at like some of the trailers of a few of the different RTSs and just some of the negativity and all the comments. This is not a real-time strategy on like Battle Aces and all these different things. And I get it. Like, I understand where it comes from. But on the other hand, then I saw the Civilization trailer for Civ 7. And I thought the Civ 7 teaser trailer was like pretty mid. I was like, this is okay. And, but like the comments were so positive. Everyone was just like, this is so cool. I can't wait. And I was like, what? Really? For this basic trailer? I was like, okay. And then I looked at like, some of I really like the Battle Aces trailer, for instance. I really like just like the cool little like anime art style with it, even though it's clearly like not like a huge budget thing. And some of the people there were like, it looks stupid mobile game. It's just kind of funny where I'm like, I think real-time strategy gamers need to stop taking themselves so seriously and just give things a chance. Don't get me wrong, guys. I know a lot of people are still out there like, when are we going to get the next game like StarCraft 2? When someone decides to drop $500 million. In today's money, you'd need to invest $500 million to develop a game and probably 5 year plus dev cycle. Before you get any payoff. And then at the end of that, you'd be looking to at most double that amount of money if you want to do a StarCraft style game release. So it's just not something any of the big companies are interested in doing right now. But anyway, so a bit of a tangent here in the cast. Apologies for that, guys. Let's talk about the game. So far, very safe setup. Q kept building Marines, the bunkers there. I guess to summarize that point, just to wrap it up nicely, just give other games a chance and just try them and see what they are. But there's going to be a lot of games coming out that they do some things really well, but they're not going to be as all-consuming as a StarCraft 2 or something like that. All right, double Cyclone drop. Now, this is interesting. Why is Q sitting at home? Is this a defensive drop? I guess he's expecting a drop to come in for BYUN. And if the drop comes in here, he boosts over, unloads, and kills the drop. Oh, that's actually really clever. Or if the Reapers come in, he can boost over and deal with it. Oh, wow. I like this setup. And he's got third command center, Raven tank now, building interference matrix as well. And remember, guys, BYUN, he's playing Ravenless. This is my favorite style, 2-1-1. So he's gone for a 2-on-1 after this Reaper Hellion aggression. Now, I'm an expert in this style. I've played this many times against pro gamers. This particular style, you open with a 2-on-1. You want to build your third command center on location if you can. He's going to build it on the high ground. So he's playing a little bit safer here. The problem is, there's going to be a moment when there's 2 or 3 Ravens, a bunch of tanks and stuff, when normally you're behind. But because Kua went Medevac Cyclone, that's actually really good for BYUN in this game, because it slows down the Raven tank. Otherwise, when there's a bunch of tanks and Ravens, you're actually very vulnerable as the Marine player, because you do not have your own Ravens, which means your tanks are useless. Like, your first 3 to 4 tanks are basically all going to be interference matrix targets. Here we go. He's coming in. Careful, BYUN. Get out, get out, get out. Oh, God. Okay. Takes a big tank shot. He's going to lose 2 Marines. He's still fighting. Crazy to still be fighting. BYUN's actually a mad dog, guys. I think he just thought, hey, I've got stim, you don't. At the end of the day, he does get the depot, so you know what? It is at least a worthwhile trade. And you really want to try and keep your opponent off their third base for a little bit, because of course, Kua doesn't have stim. He doesn't have the mobility. So trying to scare him back and keep him pinned in there is a good way to do it. Now, with this style, you've got similar upgrade timings, right? 1-1, but you need to get this mass of Marines up, and combat shields is very important. You cannot engage tanks until you have combat shields, because otherwise your Marines get one shot by siege tanks, and that's huge. I've played this style against BYUN a few times back in the Glittering Ashes map pool as well in the weekly tournaments. I think I was one of my proudest games last time I was grinding Terran was I did this same build order that he's doing in this scenario. And I think I made it to like 18, 19 minutes versus him in one of the games before he just destroyed me in the maxed out wars because his positioning was way too good. And obviously he's BYUN. But it's a fascinating style because basically, if Kua turtles up and gives you no marine opportunity attack angle, what do? Build a 4th, build a 5th, out expand your opponent, get ahead economically. Whereas if Kua tries to play aggressively, you want to surround his army like a Zerg player. You want to either counter drop or you want to like swarm in from multiple sides. Think of BYUN in this scenario, guys, as he wants to have the marine advantage and he wants to overwhelm. Unfortunately for him, where's that marine advantage? It doesn't really exist right now because Kua's macro has been so sick. Remember, Kua did a 1-Rex expand. So his early game lead by going for a faster expansion has now paid off. He's ahead in workers. He's ahead in tanks. He's got 2 Ravens with 4 interference matrices between them soon. Oh, but here we go. Quad drop in the main, quad drop in the main. BYUN's going to go for a very sneaky drop. Problem is the tanks are just going to get matrixed. The Marine stim in front, that tank in the back for Kua. Really well positioned here. Notice Kua, he's just waiting. He's going to matrix the tanks and go for it. Does he have stim though? He doesn't have stim just yet. Ooh, this is an... Okay, is he going to go for it? BYUN wisely knows he's about to get matrix, picks up and just leaves. I like this idea. I wouldn't mind him sieging to try and take out a gas as well. But BYUN's got to be careful. He's building 8 Marines at a time. Now the question for BYUN, do we go 4th and 5th base next? I feel like he needs more command centers. He's going to go double gas, which tells me probably 2nd factory. Oh, he starts +2 armor rather than +2 attack. That's a bummer. Okay, he realizes, starts vehicle weapons and +2 attack as well. He's got a few Reapers and Hellions on the left, a few Marines and tanks in the middle. And you can see he's playing like a Zerg. He's ready to counterattack. He's ready to backstab. He really wants to catch Kua out of position. Kua is kind of like a mech player in this scenario. You know, he's very slow and methodical, but oh no, a full medevac of Marines gets caught out there. These guys does save the tank though. Nicely done. In the middle of the map, Kua has a much bigger army. Kua is honestly looking like he's got a massive lead right now. He's not made enough mistakes to give BYUN the openings, but BYUN still being a nuisance, still being very tricky, and he's going to try and get that drop out on that right side as well. But the tank is there. He's going to unload just barely in range of at least a little bit. The Marine tank on the front for BYUN fighting as well as it can. He does have combat shields, but the matrixes are pushing him through. But look at that. He buys time. He actually saves 2 of his tanks. BYUN's doing a really good job of exhausting some of the Raven energy, slowing down the push with the siege ups. This is amazing multitasking by BYUN, but BYUN's running out of time. Yes, he's got a 4th command center on the way, but he's going to have to fight this army sooner rather than later, and he's down 9 Marines. He's down 3 tanks. Yes, he's kept Kua split up, but once Kua groups these armies up, Kua is miles ahead. And this has just been a successful series of trades. Kua's traded better, he had the faster expansion up, and he's played a stock standard, solid defensive game. BYUN's aggression has not been able to find enough value. That being said, he finds a pretty good fight there. Combat shields, though, is now done for Kua. And Kua's 2-2 is also looking like it might even be a few seconds ahead of his. Single SCV on the left side will scout that 4th command center, at least see the SCVs long distance mining. Tank gets a nice shot off here for BYUN, and he's got a few Vikings out. If he could get rid of these Ravens without letting them land the matrixes, that would be pretty big. 3 more barracks on the way. I think BYUN might be able to even things out in the late game. He might be able to. This is a very tough one, though. Because there's no pressure on... It's not like Kua needs to win the game. Because this 4th base is not that scary. Kua has his own 4th command center finish. And BYUN, he's got to pull it back. He's going to lose a few of these SCVs. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God, the command center. No, he loses his command center. He should have pulled SCVs to repair that. That was a bit of a blunder. If he pulled some SCVs to repair that, he could have kept that alive. Vikings are now out, though. The fact that BYUN has a Viking advantage is really important for slowing down Kua's lead. But the 4th command center is gone. 2nd factory's only now building here for BYUN on that tech lab in the main, whilst the 2 factories are already up. So Kua's got all the leads. Only thing he's missing is he's only got 5 barracks, whereas BYUN now has extra reactors finishing on barracks 6 and 7. Barracks 8 there, building Marines of its own. Hasn't set any rally points on these, though, so that could be problematic later on. Marines catch the Cyclone. Q is still up in the Marine count, almost double the tank count, actually more than double the tank count, and he's got those 2 Ravens. Only advantage for BYUN is in the Vikings, and that could turn around very fast. 3 more barracks for Kua. Now, Kua is a master of throws when he plays MARU. To be fair, that's anyone playing TVT versus MARU. I don't see him letting this one slip away against BYUN, though. Unless BYUN can, like, with moves like this, you know, sneak 50 Marines into the rally point when Q is fully committed on his side of the map or something like that. A master of throws is obviously a bit harsh for Team Liquid's Kua. Shopify Rebellion's BYUN being very good. Honestly, you look at Kua's games versus MARU over the last year and they're tragic. Because he's beating MARU every single time he plays him. And then he loses every single time and you're just like, ah. MARU's comebacks in TVT are legendary. Ooh. Yeah, BYUN doesn't have enough Marine advantage. If he had the Marine advantage, which, I mean, I guess now he's up a few Marines. So he's got a bit more of a mobile army. He's coming in from both sides. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Big army, but he didn't stim from the right side. There we go. Stims now. The Marines will overwhelm, but he's going to get sandwiched from the right. He can pull back to his tanks, though. He's got tanks behind it. Q is going to try to rotate to punish him for that move. Says, you naughty boy, how dare you? But I think Q should back off, actually. I don't think Q needs to push. He's down 20 army supply. Q should slow down. Q has the better setup. He's on 5 bases. Remember, BYUN's only just landed his 4th. Exerting pressure is one thing, but if you let BYUN jump on this could actually work against you. Tanks and Vikings doing a good job of zoning. And BYUN's actually counterattacking. Yeah, Q has got to be careful, man. He's building 16 Marines at a time, though, now. So Q's production has really ramped up. They're both building 16 Marines at a time. The Vikings are there protecting. BYUN wanted to float his 5th command center down. It gets delayed for now. These tanks are here. There's Marines nearby. Oh, he takes out the sensor tower at least. That's something. BYUN's looking for this big collapse. He's looking for the collapse. The unsiege. Oh no, Q is unsieged. BYUN gonna shut it down. Vikings from the left, Marines from the right, and all those tanks go down before a single shot gets off. That was a stunning fight. I say while I accidentally hit pause on the replay for a second. Glitch in the matrix there. Sorry guys, I was trying to press that unit's loss tab. Look at that. The trading was dead even. It was 7k, 7k. Now it's 2k resource lost advantage for BYUN. He wins that tank trade there as they both start to fight over the watchtower. The most awkward area on Alcyon is this watchtower. It looks like Cure has a slightly deeper tank position for now. But they're both going to be able to deny each other control of that watchtower. +3 vehicle weapons on the way for Cure. +2's only just started for BYUN. That's pretty meaningful. Those tanks add a lot of firepower. BYUN's actually ahead on tanks now, 11 versus 5. He's down on the Marines slightly. So, trying to shove the middle is kind of a crazy move. This is a very BYUN style move. He does get rid of all the medevacs, but his Marines get absolutely rinsed. That being said, Cure may have chased a bit too far himself. So BYUN takes a sloppy trade there, trying to force the issue. I'd much rather he go and find these command centers around the edges, get some libs or some drop harass in, something like that. Both players, though, feeling like whoever controls the tower just wins the game. This is the 3v1 rule. You guys have heard me talk about this. If your opponent only has 1 tank covering an area, move 3 tanks in, siege them up. You'll take 2 tank shots, which puts one of your tanks very low, but then you'll one-shot their siege tank. And that's the 3v1 rule of TVT. Always remember, if they've only, you want to, so if you move in here and in range of 3 tanks, bad. But if you come in on the left flank up there, it can work out. He's trying to do it again here, but that was a 2v1. Not exactly the way you want to do it. BYUN's getting a bit sloppy, man. I'm not the biggest fan of how BYUN's doing this, but there we go. He does finally win that tank trade. Marine count is so far ahead for Cure, though. Oh, God. Dude, BYUN's messed up. BYUN's messed up. He's been taking really sloppy trades in the middle of this map. Cure has got a giant Marine army moving forward. Gets a tank. Luckily, that other tank was far enough back. He didn't want to force his whole army through that gold choke. Planetary's up. Ah, yeah. Planetary plus mass repair is a bit too good. Even if you spread your Marines out, BYUN's really good at focus firing. He'll shift click on the middle of the Marines that are clumped. Tanks in the middle. Oh, gosh. Tanks in the middle. Here we go. Nice move for Cure. He goes for some Marine bombs. Takes out 1, 2 tanks. He should stop the unload and pull back. He loses one of the medevacs. The other one does get out of there. This tank for BYUN getting a few good shots off before Cure remembers to scan. Units tab is what I'm keeping an eye on, guys, because that's what matters. It's dead even. But look at this move here for Cure. That tank on the left adding some good shots, but BYUN's got to get out of there. He has got to get out of there, man. On that left side, there is still 1 tank up there. Vikings keep shooting down the medevacs. This is actually a big problem for Cure. His Marines are heavily damaged, but his medevacs keep dying. There's this little handful of Vikings have actually been kind of ruining Cure. Notice how no Vikings have died this game, guys. It's the same 4 Vikings the entire time. It's the same 4 Vikings for BYUN. Oh, but he friggin'... Oh, no. He accidentally moved those Marines through the enemy army. Youch. Cure taking a forward base on that right side. That's base number 6. BYUN is still on 5 bases, though he does have more command centers building right now. Looks like, I don't know where they're building. Somewhere out front. Down here. Ooh, these tanks on the high ground getting good shots off. Yeah, these tanks make it really hard to rotate that army. I think it might be time for Cure to slow down and swap air. I feel like both sides, when they try to push too hard, are kind of overextending. Cure's going to shove. He's down on Marines, even on tanks. Oh, big mass Marine drops going across here. BYUN with a trademark BYUN move. He's going to try and unload on top of that siege tank. Marines and SCVs coming back. The tank does go down. The SCVs, yes, a lot of them sacrifice their lives, but worth it there to defend the drop. BYUN does get out on the other side of the map. Massive push forward for Cure, but he doesn't even siege. Oh my gosh, but then again, BYUN's also overstimmed here. The planetary and the tanks will end up protecting his position. My gosh, this game is wild. Dead even in the units lost. Within 100 resources lost for both sides. That tells you how bloody close this TVT is. And honestly, this is the TVT I've been waiting for, guys. I feel like MARU's TVTs are getting almost dull because he just wins too much, you know? It's the Serral effect. It's like Serral in anything, and MARU in TVT. Oh, Medevac goes in, gets cleaned up by those 4 Marines. Maybe a bit of an F2 there for BYUN. This tank here is huge. Always leave these little forward tanks to stop your opponent's rotation, guys. You just leave a few tanks scattered around like that. It really makes TVT a little bit easier for you. Something that's helped my TVT a lot in the last 6 months was just remember, just start sprinkling some tanks around. Don't F2 your whole army, unsiege it, and move it all in one pack. 2 more starports finally on the way for Cure. I wanted to see this a while ago. He's taking more gases on that right side. He's going to take the gold base as well. BYUN needs to break out of this contain. He's trying to expand up to the top left, but that's a free command center kill there. Building armor and high-sec auto tracking have already been made for Cure. They have not been made for BYUN. Building armor's on the way now. No high-sec auto tracking just yet. Triple drop around the back. If it hits the back of the natural, that's an exposed bit of infrastructure there. There's no sensor towers or turrets along this left side. This is a big mistake for BYUN. Leaving this entire flank unguarded? Oh, man. Dude, he's not going to have any warning of it until now. And he's maxed out. And what Cure might be able to dive on the front because he's going to have to pull back most of his army, stimming back Marines and Vikings. I mean, to be fair, there's no SCVs at this point in the main base. He's going to go for the orbital. Oh, BYUN's going to dive in on the top planetary. Oh my god, that planetary. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, BYUN messed up. Oh no, the planetary just killed 20 Marines. That was a slaughter. Cure does lose his Marines in the main, but he gets an orbital there. He shuts down so many Marines on the map. That's a 3,000 resource lost swing. And that's why diving pure Marine into planetaries, you need to have an overwhelming number. If there was no building armor, I guarantee you that planetary dies. But the building armor upgrade +2 armor is really important. Advanced ballistics hasn't been made for either side. Ravens are now being built for Cure. Really feels like Cure's playing a bit of a slow game right now, a calm game. Now, if you guys have ever seen these two play, Cure always looks very calm when he plays. BYUN always looks like a frantic man having a heart attack. I relate a lot to like the heroes and BYUNs of this world who literally their hand movements and their head movements while they're playing look like they're having seizures. Because I absolutely look like I'm having an aneurysm when I play an intense StarCraft match, but I always admire a guy like Cure who just looks super chill, kind of in that MARU vein of like, he's like, dude, this is my 10,000th StarCraft game this month. Do you think I'm phased? Like, this is just another practice game for me, even though it's the GSL. So, Siege Up comes forward. Those tanks trying to pull back right now. Oh, multiple tanks going down. Good move by BYUN. BYUN's finally getting that +3 vehicle weapons that he was slow on. He's up 20 army supply right now. Cure's getting Ravens that'll give him good value over time. He's also taking the air advantage. So something you got to be careful of, guys, is right now, BYUN's on 14 tanks without air control. This is a disaster. Because once these Vikings come down and kill his Vikings and Libs, he's like, well, I have more tanks than you. But then Cure's like, yeah, but I have air control. And there's only 6 orbitals for BYUN. He's going to have to use scans for vision. And yeah, now he sees the Vikings. He's like, ah, crap. Because he's only on 1 starport. So the thing is, you'd rather at least have a Marine advantage, so at least you have a mobility advantage against the guy with air control. But he's on 16 tanks, so BYUN's way overbuilt siege tanks. This is really bad for BYUN. BYUN should cancel tanks, build more Marines, or try to swap into triple starport Viking. He cannot be playing mass tank without air control. It's so awkward using mass siege tank without air, which is why he's moving forward. He wants to keep Cure on the defense, because he knows in a front-on fight, he's going to lose. Oh, nice stim forward. He's actually got less Marines than Cure. Cure could literally stim A-move this army. Oh, he gets 2 Ravens, though. BYUN's kind of acting like a honey badger right now. Cure is quite clearly the grizzly bear in this scenario. He could kill him with 1 swipe, but BYUN's ferocity is throwing him off his game and making him second-guess himself. The Liberator sieges the gold, gets 5 SCVs, rotates to the right side. Vikings are coming to deal with it. But yeah, the fact that BYUN kept that army back with half the Marine count that were anti-armor missile is straight up hilarious. Liberator sieging in the right side right now. He's going to do pretty well. Marine's going to start shooting that orbital. Bunch of Marines going to go over there as well. 17 tanks for BYUN. He's still building them. I got to question BYUN's strategy here, guys. That being said, I mean, I guess you can't interference matrix all of them if you have 18 siege tanks. Liberator harass. I love the Liberator harass. I really like that. But I really wonder for BYUN, like, oh, he's going to go for the middle. This is a crazy attack. Crazy attack for BYUN. BYUN's trying to shove through his opponent. Wow, he actually got rid of a few tanks. His tanks are getting some decent shots off as well. The matrices for Kua haven't really done what they're supposed to yet. Losing those 2 early Ravens did hurt his energy count. Remember, you want to play very slow as Kua here, but Kua's got double air upgrades. He's got all the Raven Viking building up, all the progression. He needs to stop building Vikings. Kua's overbuilding Vikings, guys, because you only need enough Vikings to win the air fight. So Kua's big misstep here, if he loses this game, it's going to be the fact that he has 30 army supply in anti-air units against a guy who's only got a few medevacs. He's not contesting the skies. Second and third starport now building along with high-sec auto-tracking for BYUN. Still got the scans in the middle, and he's actually got the watchtower right now. I mean, you could just spam auto-turrets on this. It's probably a bit too energy expensive to do that. Marine bombs would work as well. Oh, tank drop. I like that. Marines on the left side come in. Single drop catches a bunch of fresh mules and a command center in the open. Marines of their own will move over to defend. Tank Marine on that right side. That planetary is going to potentially go down. Quick mass repair. Oh my gosh, the mass repair might barely keep it. Marines on the left side move forward. Once again, BYUN starts a fight with an inferior force. This time, Kua doesn't bite the bait, and the interference matrix doing what it's meant to, shutting this down. Very well done. Planetary finally finishes in that top left. In the middle, though. Oh gosh, BYUN's going to dive the middle. BYUN dives the middle, clearing him out. BYUN's way down in supply right now. He's clearly been losing the trades for the last few minutes. He's down 4,000 resources, but he's kind of gaining position. He is bullying Kua a little bit. Kua needs to stay calm. I like that Kua's rebuilding Mass Marine right now. I think he should realize, hey, I've got the Raven advantage. If I just have enough Marines to jump on top, this should be an easy win. His Raven count did get diminished a little bit there. These 2 tanks in the back for BYUN are actually doing a lot. Teamwork makes the dream work between the tanks and the Marines. And how many Ravens we lost? 8, yeah. So Kua does get bullied a bit. On the other hand, Kua actually built up the Iron Bank. He's on 7 orbitals. Now there's 6 more command centers for BYUN. Oh wow, 3 orbitals just finished. He's on 9. Okay, so BYUN's now got the mass mule capabilities. He really needs to take this gas. You want to try and suck up all these resources as quickly as possible. You could steal a base as well. That would be a really good way of winning here in the late game. Damn, man. Oh, Marine tank on that left side. Oh god, go. Kua's tank is in position. Careful, BYUN. But BYUN's going to come in on that right side, catch a few of these extra barracks, guys. There is 11 barracks for Kua right now. Both sides on 11 racks. Although that's become a bit more standard these days for the quick remax capabilities. Those Marines on that right side will take out that tank. BYUN getting some good damage on the production over there. Interference matrices are good though, dude. The anti-armor missiles as well. Essentially giving your Marines a +2 attack upgrade against those orange Dorito dust Marines. So many matrices. BYUN focusing down a few Ravens. He's got enough Marines to protect, though. Kua's got to be a bit careful. Kua, what are we doing? Kua, what are we doing? Kua, oh my god, he's just going to use auto turrets. Crazy. Gets it done, though. He does break the position. Well done. Even gets that tank on the high ground over there. Liberator on the left side comes in for BYUN. BYUN is building 22 Marines at a time right now. Holy crud. Tanks in siege mode coming forward. Units lost tab, 6,000 resources in favor of Kua. Kua's Ravens, just a single Raven can interference matrix 2 tanks and take them out of the fight, which is huge. 6 supply removed from the fight for only 2 supply of your own. And if you micro that Raven back to safety after, gets to do that again. It doesn't even cost anything to do that. Just energy, just time. That's what the Ravens are all about. And that's what it's all about. We're doing the Raven hokey pokey right here, man. Marines and Vikings chasing back BYUN. BYUN's up in the Marine count again. He's going for the classic kind of, I'll have more Marines and I'll outposition you. The anti-armor missiles, the tank positioning. Kua's doing such a good job of controlling the center. I love this from Kua. Kua's played such a good, calm, defensive game. He's really played to his strong suits. It's almost certain after this game, BYUN's going to proxy Reaper in the next game or do some sort of really cheesy attack. I feel like BYUN's the kind of guy who after this game tries to just kill you. But Kua, oh my god, actually Kua's taking some big tank shots. He's pushing forward though. On the right side, Marines run in. No planetary. Oh, this is a good counterattack for BYUN. Even though BYUN's position on his gold base is broken, he's still got a tank there shelling. Actually, that tank doesn't have vision right now. He does need to drop some scans. Marines on the right side, though, take out the orbital command center. 16 workers. I like the pullback. Scan, BYUN. Scan! If he scans, he can kill that tank, but instead that tank's killing all of his workers. Q is down to 53 workers, BYUN on 67. Dude, this game's so close. He finally scans. The tank does get revenge there. A few Marines here. Q with his Vikings a bit far forward. Dude, if BYUN just stims these Marines on that, he could get a few of these. Marines. Oh, they barely take out the tank, but I think a good trade for Q, all things considered. Q is still ahead, 5,000 resources overall in the units lost, which means the last 2 minutes has actually gone in BYUN's favor because he's closed the gap by 1,000. 3-3 upgrades are on the way. Liberator getting some good shots off. Marines do clean it up. Triple drop to the right. Oh, I feel like, man, if there was just a bit more like single Marines getting behind this mineral line, this would have really stressed him out. Oh my god, Kua goes for it. Crazy attack for Kua. Kua shoves up the middle. Interference matrixes all the frontliner tanks. There's more tanks behind that, though. Breaking through these tank lines is very hard. I really like the way BYUN stims forward, pulls back, stims forward, pulls back, and he's willing to bleed out a tank or two here or there because he is sniping Ravens with Marines, and he's using his positioning quite well. Problem is, his gold base is now forfeit, but he gets rid of the gold of Kua, even though Kua had mined more of the resources there. He had that one up a bit earlier. Oh, good hold by Kua. That was a fantastic hold. Kua's got 3-3 air upgrades, and you know what? Even though he did overcommit to Vikings earlier, he's probably killed so many medevacs. He's killed 30 medevacs of BYUN this game. So BYUN has to keep building medevacs, and they keep dying. Marine's going to try to move around, but these planetaries are kind of impervious. Oh, both sides scanning everything. 2 tank advantage for Kua, but he's down about 25 Marines. $600 Marines dead for BYUN. 450 for Kua this game. Kua has been the more kind of tank Viking focused player. He's still lost an immense amount of boys. This is some proper Civil War style stuff, guys. Introduction to a new type of warfare. Modern weaponry and artillery and whatnot. Creating a holding pattern. The original precursor to trench warfare as well. Interference matrix is coming down as well. Ooh, gosh. Kua's got too much here. BYUN does stim on the top left, takes out the planetary. He's pulling back into his layers of tanks. It's hard to get your Ravens in range. The tank shots are going pretty well. Oh, the Marines are getting cleaned. There's a new tank on the right. It goes down, as does the planetary. Marines coming in from this left side for BYUN. There are 2 tanks there. BYUN will take that fight out. It's going to take those 2 tanks. Meanwhile, I don't know, dude. 7,000 resources lost in Kua's advantage. Kua has a bit more money. He's got to be careful not to get caught on siege, though. BYUN thought about going for it. Orbital's trying to run away. It's a lot of infrastructure, but you've got 11 orbitals. You can lose half of these and still have as many as Kua. BYUN's still got the ability to drop mass mule, but oh, dude. He gets a Raven, but his whole army stims. Oh, that's a huge mistake. BYUN's whole army is overstimmed, guys. His Marines are overstimmed. He needs time to heal. Kua is not going to give him that time. Kua is not going to give him that time. Tank volley goes off as well. These Marines, though, the Ravens! No! Kua just ran all of his Ravens into the Marines. Kua had him dead to rights, and he accidentally clicked the Viking Raven on it. 27 Ravens have gone down in total. Dude, he just gave up his Raven advantage. That is a huge mistake. BYUN's going to go for it now. His Marines have healed up partially. He's going to go over the top and try to run through. Those are some brave Marines. They do manage to break the front line, but dude, they've built another line behind it. You know, you break the front line of trenches, there's another line behind it, and you go, seriously? What are we even fighting for, man? This is crazy. 7 tanks against 10, 20 Marine advantage. Kua's got a good setup. BYUN, oh, that's so smart. If he was able to get away with this, he would win this game. He would have been able to win this game if he got away with it, but Kua scouts it. Shuts it down. Kua shoves the middle. Interference matrix on the tanks. The Marine stimming forward. Beautiful engagement here for Kua. Does he have the numbers to capitalize, though? He's got to pull back. He's got to pull back to his tanks. His Marines are getting rid of all the mules in the top left. Very well done there. And he's just killed another 16 SCVs on this gold base as well. BYUN running out of cash. If he could have mined here with Mass Mule for a few minutes, I really do believe BYUN could have got back in this game because Q is running out of resources. But the inability to do that puts him in a very hard spot. Now look at this, guys. If he unloads here, he could stim in and kill all the Ravens. Oh my gosh. But does Kua realize? Kua's like, hey, where's your Marines right now? Kua's kind of like, this is weird. So he's literally looking for a counterattack, but he's like, oh, I guess you're not counterattacking because I just scanned there. Oh, he reacts very quickly anyway. Dude, what a quick reaction. Very quick response by Kua. These pro gamers are built of sterner stuff than us normies out there in the ladder. Now, it's funny. He's going for the Marine tank production rather than the Raven production. Oh, a couple Ravens do rally to their death. Some of these factories. Oh, yeah, if you snipe all the factories, that's pretty big because there's so many Marines barracks, right? You're not going to kill 10 barracks. He gets rid of one factory. But, oh, the problem is he's trapped now. I mean, he's killing units as they pop, but the Vikings are actually really good because they shoot down the medevacs as well. Same time, he does stim in down here, gets some damage. He says, well, this is a one-way trip, but maybe I can make something of it by getting damage elsewhere at the same time. And he does get some damage. Let's look at the income. He's mining more than his opponent right now. That tank would be so funny. Is that going to survive? The Marine moves within the minimum firing range, though, so no, it does not. Tanks are there. Marines moving out to the left. So the thing is, guys, remember, BYUN's still mining way more resources. Kua may have traded a lot better this game, but as long as BYUN can keep mining a few more minerals for a little bit longer, basically these gold minerals plus that top left, he might be able to rebuild and get back in this. He's still down 40 army supply. Problem is, of course, the Raven tank, which he doesn't have an answer to. He's got to give up ground. Give up ground. The interference matrices, very well done by Kua. If Kua gets over Eager, maybe he could screw this up, but man, his supply advantage is huge. Liberate Harass going across the map right now. This tank on the left for BYUN is actually huge. That was awesome. That genius tank gets quite a few big shots off. Marines come forward, take out a Raven. Liberators going forward there to siege on these left two bases. The Marines will take care of that, though. Tanks in the middle getting a few good shots off. That's a tank kill as well. Oh, got to be careful, Kua. You cannot be losing those Ravens and Vikings for free. Still plenty of minerals up here. As long as Kua establishes this base, yes, he's lost his last mining there. But if he can drop mules up there, even with his only 5 orbitals, I think he's fine. Because BYUN's now out of minerals. That income advantage is gone. He's only got 2 mineral patches left here. 2 or 3 gold mineral patches there have been evicted from his control, which means there's no chance for him to catch up in army. He's got a 20 marine advantage. What can he do with it? Hit the production again, probably. He's going to go to the left. He does take out the tank, but he gets 2 shots off first. Auto turrets, anti-armor missiles. And it looks like he does win this trade. And remember, if you get rid of Kua's last base, that's big. But does he have enough units left to hold this position? Unlikely. He's going to go after the orbital. Here comes the Marine tank, right? Raven Viking interference matrix is going down on the tanks. Auto turrets trying to land on top of these Marines as well. They're all so overstimmed, trying to kill the SCVs. Anything he can get here. BYUN trying to push forward in the middle at the same time with like just unsieged tanks. He's trying to drop mules. Any minerals he can suck up. But Kua defends the top left. He drops mules as well. What an incredible game one this has been. But Kua at the end of the day does it. And 10,000 cost efficiency in a mirror matchup is what it is. What a fantastic game one between these legends. All right. That was a pretty sick game one. Had to take a bit of a break myself after that one, but we are back now with game 2. BYUN in the top left side. Not sending an SCV across the map. Now, maybe not a great map for it because Proxy Reaper on this map sucks. So I said I think he's just going to like Proxy Reaper all in or something. To be fair, that's not a good choice against Kua. Like when MARU and BYUN play, BYUN will just like cheese the crap out of him. They'll all in each other constantly because they both play risky. But Kua is the kind of guy who might do like a double gas build and also SCV scout, which is just ridiculously safe. So he sometimes is prone to do that. Now this is a gas first for Kua. So he's definitely doing an expand, but it's going to be with much quicker tech. It is a bit more of a bare bones. If you were facing 2-Rax Reaper, this is usually one of the worst openings against it because, well, you've only got 1 Reaper and then a factory's building and bam, 2 Reapers come in and it's a rough time. But your factory is a bit earlier than normal, so it's not too bad. Now, BYUN's going to do 1-Rax expand as well, but obviously... Oh, wait, did he go gas first also? Oh, he did. Oh, they both went gas first. Never mind, guys. Cool, mirror matchup. So they're both doing a gas first expand. Like I said, quick factory. I doubt either player goes reactor first. I imagine it'll be Reaper into factory into reactor for both sides. But we'll keep our eyes on it. Yeah, mirrored build orders so far, man. Command Center goes down a second earlier for Cure. Now that's the spawn advantage, guys. His SCVs start here on the side of the mineral line, whereas BYUN start here. They've got to move slightly further to return his first minerals. Doesn't really make a noticeable difference. It's one of those very few things that you're like, hey, actually, there's technically a slight advantage to spawning at the bottom because of that. People do make also an idea that they're like, oh, it's easier to micro towards the top of your screen than the bottom of your screen. They say that's another reason why it's better to be the bottom player as well, but I don't know how much this stuff really makes an impact. It's pretty damn minor. Second gas coming in. Second depots finishing for both sides after the factory, of course. Doesn't look like the factories will be swapping over. Now, interestingly, BYUN's actually playing it a bit safer, guys. He's gone marine production after, whereas it's straight into reactor. So Q is playing a little bit more confident, greedy, one could say. You know, those are two sides of the same coin in StarCraft, aren't they, right? Greedy and confident. Because, like, stupid greed is only stupid if you get punished, right? If you're confident taking that gamble, you get away with it. Always ends up being a boon. Hellion comes out, Cyclone on the way. Hellion into Cyclone for BYUN as well. BYUN's reactor a little later, not a big deal though, in the difference. The double marine now starts up for Cure. Quicker third gas for BYUN. Now that could lead into the 2 starport tank Viking focus play, or it could just be so he can non-stop build Raven's tanks after the Cyclone medevac. Cure, I assume, is going to go quick third command center. He still doesn't have a third gas. So it looks like Cure wants to get the Cyclone medevac control and then play into it. But no, third gas goes down. It's just a bit later. Okay, so he's prioritizing like marine production, SCV production, all that sort of stuff first and foremost. Of course, BYUN chooses to be aggressive with his drop. Not surprising in the least. But actually, Cure does as well. So Hellion and 6 Marines, though. BYUN's drop with the Cyclone, potentially a bit more powerful. Oh, Cure tries to answer it. Oh, he picked up his Cyclone, though. Slight mistake there for BYUN. Both sides turn around and go home. Viking tank for Cure, very defensive, whilst a Raven tank for BYUN. BYUN's setting up for the longer game. Raven tanks are more standard, kind of general purpose units, whereas this Viking, specifically to shut down enemy aggression. That tank, it's okay. Oh, we're playing Viking tank. Wow, I did not expect this from Cure, guys. He's already building Viking tank. Are we going to see a second starport and a 4th gas? Or is this just a bit of a commitment for right here, right now? I feel like if you don't already have the second, 4th gas goes down. Yeah. Cure's going to do the, it's essentially a 2-base all-in. Mass tank, Viking. It's a good play. We see it a lot these days. Very common in that Korean meta. Ooh, BYUN's ready with his drop. Watch out, bro. BYUN's looking to flank him. Yeah, BYUN's going to try and come in from behind with the Cyclone Viking. Where is that second starport? Still not down. I guess non-stop tank Viking production does cost a lot. Cure should be putting those 2 more workers onto that gas now. There we go. Oh my god, does he get it? Does he get it? Does he get it? Oh, not quite. Not quite. Cure's going to try to get out of there. A couple Marines and a Hellion, as well as the Reddit point medevac, should be surviving. Third command center starts up for BYUN. He's got himself 2 Ravens with Interference Matrix. When he finds out about these Vikings, he's going to have to be very careful. He's got to control space. The problem BYUN has is because he's been busy with that drop, he has no idea about this push. Oh, here we go. Q is going to go for it. Massive attack. Massive attack. BYUN's tanks, one of them siege, the other ones are not. Auto turrets do go down, as well as 1 Interference Matrix. The Marines on the right side doing very well for BYUN, though. Those Marines for BYUN actually doing really nicely, and just a good solid defense. If BYUN had his units split up at all, that could have been devastating. But the fact that he had his whole army together, he knew this sort of push is something that could be coming out, stays safe, defends it. And I'll tell you what, that's exactly what happens every time I try to do this push. Same result. It makes me feel good, because normally in pro games, I see MARU just win with that push so many times, and I'm like, well, this is ridiculously good. Why does this never work for me? But BYUN slaps it down. Notice he's building extra barracks, guys. This is just ultimate desperate phase 2 of the all-in, is add a few more Marines with my non-stop Viking tank production, basically. Oh my god, is he gonna... Dude, BYUN's the only guy to pick up 2 tanks into an orange hit point medevac and boost it towards 3 Vikings. That's how you know BYUN is... I swear like his mum smoked crack while he was in the womb or something like... And it's given him superpowers. If BYUN was like a comic book character, you know, it's like... It's not the spider biting Peter Parker. It's literally his mum just hit some friggin... Some sort of radiation while he's in the womb. And he comes, you know, just becomes this perfectly mixed... A perfect mix of crazy and aggressive. Somehow always knows just how deep he can step into danger and get out of there just barely with his units. But he did lose a Raven there. Siege the tanks, siege the tanks. No, he's going to pull back. Not a bad call. He's at 6 Vikings against 9. So he is outnumbered. He could land the Vikings and just go for the full ground fight and ignore the Vikings of Cure, force them to land. Oh, I like that siege up. Gets rid of an SCV and a few Marines. He's got 1-1 upgrades on the way. Stim's almost finished, and he's going up to 5 barracks. 2 minutes from now, BYUN has like 40 Marines with Stim, combat shields, and 1-1, and it's game over. Because Q has just started his 3rd command center. This is an awful spot to be in. Like, Q has to try to win the game. Problem is, if he splits up to go land Vikings anywhere, he might lose air control. But pushing in one direction doesn't seem to be getting him any value. Like, he's got to try and pick off air units. It's very awkward because BYUN's using all of his scans to maintain vision. If you try to move in vision here, it's not going to go well. He's still got at least 2 scans available. Oh, and BYUN actually kills one of the Vikings. He does lose his Raven. But dude, BYUN's like straight up fighting. BYUN is straight up fighting right now, and I think it's working. Oh, maybe loses 1 more Viking than his opponent. 4 for... Obviously, a bunch of these Vikings died in the previous fight. Big counterattack, though. Wow. Wow, big counterattack for BYUN. He's got Stim. He's got Stim. He's going to go for it. Kua has no idea these Marines are going to come in. And of course, Kua trying to reset for a longer game, but this is always the way it goes. You just lack the mobility of your opponents after these sort of starts. So many of these SCVs going down, and BYUN's like, dude, I'm on 75 workers. I've got masses of everything coming in behind this. I am happy to sacrifice these Marines. Your engineering bays haven't even finished. Guess what? My 1-1 is done. Armory goes down, 5 barracks pumping. He's got a new army out behind it. And BYUN flying colors in game 2. Kua's Viking tank surprise did not work out. Isn't that a thing anyway? Like, there's protection, right? When you're in the womb, the fetus gets protection. So, like, some of the bad stuff gets filtered out before it goes through to it. Actually, that's not the case with, like, alcohol and stuff. Don't listen to my stream for health advice. Don't smoke crack if you want your baby to be good at StarCraft. Just a heads up, guys. Just a heads up. Tanks from the high ground. Good shot for Cure. Lib's doing really well. Wow, that was a sick fight. Bit of a blunder for BYUN. But he's got the Waddly boy. The Viking, landed Viking counterattack. Marines are going to try and stim through the middle. Crazy move for BYUN. Gets a tank. Does pull back from there. Landed Vikings are smashing it. Tank on the high ground did get a shot off, but he pulls back with those Vikings. They're still doing pretty well. BYUN was very wasteful in that last fight. That's made this look like it's vaguely competitive, but you got to realize there's no upgrades on these Marines for Cure. They are Marines with drugs and nothing else. No combat shields, no 1-1. BYUN can just keep inching back little by little. Buying himself time. He's lost the air control, which is kind of sloppy. I feel like he could just stim on this, though. Ooh, these Vikings stumbling into this army. BYUN, how many supplies so far ahead? He could just pull like 30 SCVs and win, right? 75 workers, an impressive count on the economy. Don't fight around the corner, BYUN. Oof. BYUN's looking a little... I don't know, man. I expected him to be a little more confident from this far ahead, but... Oh, okay, you know, that's actually a good trade. Takes a few tank shots. Yes, he loses some Marines, but he gets air control. And Q knows without air control, he's got nothing. Now he can't push in. It's not going to work out. BYUN ties up the series nicely. All right, game 3. Cure. I mean, I like mixing in a tank Viking as much as the next man. You got to be... It's important to not become results-minded, right? A lot of players be like, oh, there was a bad choice. And this is something that I think card games are always a good thing to, like, train this mentality for people, is like, because it's such a, you know, you can clearly see the chance and the way things unfold very simply there, but often people get so focused on StarCraft being a skill-based game, they forget that the way the builds interact and how your opponent guesses what you're doing and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, there's lessons to be learned from a build not working out, but I don't think the choice itself to play the build was a bad idea for Cure. Now, BYUN's gone gas first again, while Cure is gone for Barracks gas, and it's a 1-Rex expand. Now, he's sending a second SCV out to look for proxies. He wants to make sure he doesn't get, like, proxy marauded or anything here. Pig, have you been hanging out with Benny Cousins? What's a Benny Cousins? I don't know what that is. Benny Cousins. I'll Google it after this game. AFL player who did meth? Oh, right. Damn. Like during matches? Command center does go down there nice and early. Now, Cure should be able to realize from the command center timing that this is a gas first build order. Because you look at yours and you're like, oh, mine is slightly faster. 22. Yeah, I mean, it looks almost identical. You can see in the bar, it's ever so slightly ahead. Ever so slightly ahead. 2 Reaper opening here for Cure. Does put the second depot up there. Looks like the SCV there took a few hits, but then BYUN pulls back. Cure's going to go around. If you win the Reaper duel, this could be a very good start for you. He's going to go for the factory SCV, is he? Get the factory SCV, get in and get out. Nope, he pulls away. Sees the factory timing. He knows for sure it's a gas first. Now, second Reaper's coming across. And Cure. Up here in the top left, goes for his second gas right now. BYUN building Marines off this gas first. Same opening as last game. I think as Cure, you can basically assume BYUN's probably going to play the same style. Hellion, Cyclone, Medevac, and Raven tank behind it. What change up do we see from Cure? Does he take an earlier third gas this time? He's got 500 minerals right now. Okay. Took a few seconds, but he does go for the third command center. Starport goes down and reactor factory. Okay. So here we see Cure's big change up, right? So he's going to go for probably a couple Hellions, couple Cyclones, keep himself safe. And BYUN, on the other hand, playing, as I said, the same way. BYUN loves to just follow those routine habits. Because BYUN is an execution-based player. He's not as much of a strategy-based player. Yes, he will mix up his strategies. But he likes... Most of his strategies are just... How can I find situations to utilize my speed and micro and aggression and stuff like that and really execute in the way that I do the best. Viking on the way. Third and fourth Hellion. Oh, okay. So lots of Hellions, man. All right, more Hellions on the way. Third gas is up. Interestingly, BYUN's building a Liberator. Wow, what is the Liberator for, guys? I mean, it has to be to siege a mineral line, but that's a sign of crazy aggressive play. BYUN, looking for some crazy dynamic opening pressure. Q is Viking perfectly placed, pushes the drop away. And he's going to go for Raven's Interference Matrix. I got to say that the problem with Q's build is that he's so slow to get to tanks. Is he planning to play mech off this, I wonder? On the other hand, his third command center is done. I mean, Q is already up in work. His third command center only now starting for BYUN. I'm very curious to see how this game goes. This drop pokes in, pokes out. BYUN seeing the Hellions. I think he saw the Hellions, and I think he's like, you know what? Those guys are very mobile. If I drop into that, they'll just jump on me. And he's going to build a couple of Vikings of his own. He's playing very slow for now, very, very chilled out. That lets Q get the advantage off this opening, and he's building the Ravens, which BYUN is not. Does feel to me like Q has got the better setup, but it all comes down to, of course, how the cookie crumbles, and BYUN's the one with a lot more information right now. Gets a bit of damage for free, picks up and backs away. Third command center lands. It is a second and third barracks on the way, so Q is, of course, he'll swap this barracks and that starport now as the third Raven, or second Raven comes out, I should say. Oh, is he going to get a third one? No. Cancels the Marines, does go for the swap. BYUN building a lot of Vikings. So it feels to me like BYUN's going to be pushing 7 minutes, I guess. I think he has to do something aggressive, doesn't he? But then there's so many Hellions out. This is a situation I'm not familiar with. So I guess I'll just talk about what's happening. Double engineering bay, not a lot of analysis available when I'm really not sure what the best move is for either player, because as Q, you kind of want to use the Hellion Cyclone while it's strong here in this stage of the game. But at a certain point, it's going to fall off really hard. So, yeah, you want to use it now, but you don't want to, like, lose all the units, because you got, you know, only a first tank about to pop out right now. Oh, gosh. Both players are missing each other on the map. Oh, this game's going to get super weird, guys. Neither player scouting correctly. And he scans just after the army leaves. Just after. You're kidding me. But BYUN sees that scan. He should know what's happening now. And he could come back and sandwich this. He's got Vikings and tank on the bottom. These guys are out here. He sees the tank. Command center sees it. He lifts up. Okay. I think the Vikings of BYUN can win the fight, though, against the Vikings, at least. And he's going to go across to the counterattack. Oh, this is actually bad for Kua, because Kua doesn't realize the army's already moved out. He sees the Vikings down here. He assumes the whole army's here. He has no idea that this army's sneaking around the left side. This is a huge problem. This is a huge problem. The Marines are going to stim into the natural. Kua, blindsided. And BYUN with his army on the map is going to find some big value. Kua does get some SCVs out of here. He's trying to hide those. Ooh, tanks down there getting big shots. They kill a siege tank as well. He's got a Liberator in the main as well. Oh my god, Liberator in the main is already up to 5 or 6 kills. The Marines do go down in the back there. These tanks, though, are trading so well, man. These tanks are taking so many of Kua's units with them. The Liberator did unsiege there and move in that main base. It's still only on 5 kills. He's going to resiege in that main base. That single Marine, if he dodges the zone, could be good. He does dodge the zone. Liberator only gets 1 more SCV. Units lost tab is, of course, in favor. Actually, sorry, it's in favor of Kua. But Kua lost a ton of workers. Despite losing 17 workers, it's still dead even on the worker count. Dude, Kua's lead was so good in this game that even after all that, he might be in the better position. He's still got a Raven with an interference matrix. He's down a tank, but he's got 19 Marines, 2 Cyclones, 2 Reapers, 3 Hellions, 2 Medevacs. BYUN has nothing. BYUN has nothing on the ground. BYUN has nothing on the ground. Kua senses that this is his moment, and he's going to shove in and deny this third base. A huge opportunity for Kua. Gets rid of a lot of those SCVs. He won't kill the command center because of the repair and the Vikings. But so much damage, and just feels like BYUN here is spending so much money on the Vikings. His barracks are so much later, and Kua got so many more Marines out. Wow, 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 wow. I think skipping the tanks earlier definitely helped him out. Remember that, of course, BYUN was not mining from his third while that fighting was going on. Liberator gets itself a kill. Nicely done. And it wasn't devastating damage. I mean, he's rebuilt the SCVs. His 4th command center's on the way. 2-2's building. Q has shown that he can take a punch with the best of them. Whilst BYUN was kind of going for a bit of an aggressive play, and he just couldn't find an opening. So there was multiple, like, hey, I'm going for a drop blocked by a single Viking. Hey, I'm building a Liberator. Oh, it's just sitting there for several minutes before it can be used. There was a lot of investment for BYUN that took too long to pay off in this game. Even here, moving forward, the Marines and the Liberator does lose a lot of those units. And these Marines up here for Kua are just making it so hard for him to reestablish the third. Look, even the Cyclone's picking off multiple Marines on that left. I do like that there's a new Liberator coming in, being a big old nuisance, picking off a few of these SCVs. But look at that. Stims in again on the third base. Tanks are caught trying to move forward. The Marines are so low. Yes, the Vikings kill the air units, but there's even Marines coming in from that left side as well. Kua cleaning up the house. And he takes out game 3 to win the series 2-1. All right. Our winners match. MARU, the overwhelming favorite in this one. They almost always have what appear to be good matches at surface value. But Kua's inability to close out matches against MARU is a problem. That being said, I'm here with a reason for you to be excited about this series. Internet viewers, the last time Kua beat MARU was in a GSL group stage in a best of 3. And that's where he has a chance. In a best of 5, I would probably bet my my home, my livelihood, my life savings, my firstborn child, my genitalia. I don't know, the family jewels. I'd put it on MARU in a best of 5 or greater versus Kua almost always, and I'd be pretty happy even if the odds are pretty bad. But a best of 3, Kua actually has chances to take down MARU in this format, so we'll see how it goes. MARU is going to be going for just a double gas. Kua going for the 1-Rex expand. He did a lot of 1-Rex expand in the last series, so I'm not sure. Like, BYUN's the kind of guy who didn't have any great answers, tried his own kind of gas first expands. Let's see what MARU's response is, because he's scouted for this. He wanted to know. He's going to harass, forces an extra SCV down here. Reaper's coming out. What you got in store for us, MARU? Notice he pulls off 3 workers off gas, 2 on the left, 1 on the right. Doesn't matter which side. Basically just wants to optimize his minerals, because it's like, get the factory and the Reaper out as quickly as possible. You'll still have enough gas off 3 workers to get the next Reaper, but we want to get the money for the command center. Now, where's his second depot gone? Am I blind? Oh, he built it already. He built it really early. Oh, okay. And then he should be building that command center in the near future. Ah, I see. It's the SCV that comes home from scouting. Times out. Reaper unable to win this trade. They both take even number of hits. The Marine is there to back it up. And it is going to be a factory behind this for Kua. Now, command center goes down for MARU. Starport's on the way as well. This is going to be interesting, because it feels like without the gas first, Kua's tech is just so slow, right? He goes immediate Cyclone Viking, so he was pretty good at saturating his gases quite well there. And will he take a quick third gas? I would imagine so. I feel like you have to. When you're playing against double gas, I really feel you need that third gas, but he hasn't gone for it yet, and the reason is he knows right now he's got to stay on the high ground. 2 Reapers and a Hellion, a bit stronger than 3 Marines and a Reaper in the open ground. So he's just going to drop his mule up in the main base. Very smart. You should always drop your first mule. If there's any chance of your opponent jumping in and killing your stuff, so pretty much every matchup, good habit is drop your first mules into the main. After that first mule, you can start dropping them spread across these heavy mineral patches on the natural. And as soon as he reclaims the low ground with the Cyclone, third gas goes down. I like Kua's play, but remember, it's fragile. It's always fragile, because look, the medevac's going to come across with a drop. He's going to have Reaper Hellion on the front, drop around the back. He's going to go into, like, potentially... Actually, I thought he might lift that. Are we going to get a second medevac? Dude, if he builds another medevac, MARU's playing crazy aggressive. But no. Oh, he's going to go Viking tank. Okay, he's going to play Viking tank aggression. So basically, because Q is playing so defensive, MARU's like, nah, screw trying to recover economically like BYUN did. I'm just going to try and kill him. So he's going to go all out on the aggression. It is Raven tank production here for Q. I love the production positioning. Very safe on that left side. Even if tanks get sieged up on the front, they do not threaten your production. Tank sieged on the front line. Ooh. Bit of a crazy push for MARU, though. I'd say that's a positive trade for Kua so far. Oh my god, he's killing the Reapers as well. I mean, he's getting a few Marine kills. Is MARU, is this worth it, though? At the end of the day, that's a good trade for Kua. He loses 5 Reapers. As long as he repairs the Cyclone, he's good. We got Tank Viking coming. I mean, MARU's like, hey, at least I have position, I guess? But I don't know, man. Definitely feels like a good spot to be in for Mr. Kua. Every little trade like that you take is going to be very nice, but will the Ravens get any value? Once the tanks get sieged out front in your base, you've only got 2 scans working at a time. Things can get very rough, but Kua's building another starport. Kua realizes what's happening. He's going to go Tank Viking himself after the Ravens start. He's going to swap that starport with the barracks in a moment. And look at this. He sees the siege upcoming. He's like, okay, I'll lose a depot. No worries. He's already building another depot. I'd like to see him build 2 more depots very quickly now in the back somewhere. Yeah, he starts another depot there, and he's getting ready for the swap. Beautiful setup for Kua, man. I feel like he's doing such a good job. And he should wait a few seconds and then scan. Maybe 3, 2, 1, scan. Scan, 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 scan. Oh, but actually it's... there we go. Bit of an... Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my gosh. Dude, Kua, he loses a tank. You can't be affording to lose too many, but it was at 1 tank for 1 tank. It was a good trade, good scan timing. MARU's going to move north. He's looking for the drop. But Kua, he's been very good here at holding on. And now he's building 3 Vikings at a time. MARU's all in. Remember, guys, MARU needs to break him. He needs to break him soon. These Marines are all low on hit points. I like this choice, though. Sacrificial Marine goes forward. Now, MARU's in range of the command center, but that's fine. You can just repair that with a few SCVs if need be. You just got to be careful, because if he gets ramp control, that's where Kua could fall apart. I like that Q is inching away right now. Oh, good pullback, good pullback. Repair, and siege. How many Vikings? 3 versus 5 in Maru's favor. Interference matrices, though. All the flanking matrices from the right side. But look at that unsiege pickup. Beautiful withdrawal from Maru. Maru making the best of a trash position right now. But Kua does keep both Ravens alive despite the Vikings getting a volley off. Kua should be able to take down at least one of these Vikings. Good pullback to the low ground. Maru gets the siege up. Cyclone turns around there. Gets a lock on off. Does get some damage. Great control from both sides. Third command center goes down into a second factory behind it. Maru's trying to play a mech transition. But guys, Kua, you might be looking at that going, oh, he saved his units. Maru did well. Yeah, Maru did well from a disastrous position. He was still doing a 2-base all-in. Don't get me wrong, the third command center may have only just started, but Kua was way quicker to saturate his 2 bases, and he's got a better army right now. More Marines, he's got the 2 Ravens gathering energy, more Vikings. This is a great position. Maru needs to buy time with his army on the map to recover at home. His second starport's now finally down. He's got a second factory with the tech lab. At least it is kind of like a tank Viking versus tank Viking situation. But Q has generally been really good at that historically. He's very good at tank Viking setups. G'day, Vengitron. How you doing, mate? Hope you're doing well. Ooh, careful. Ugh. That Marine goes floating. Hey, just got a tank kill. Very nice for Kua. It is the sort of 3v1 rule, but Maru accidentally didn't siege it fully in range there. Here we go. He's just going for it. Kua's like, dude, I got the numbers. I don't need to respect these. He loses a Raven, though. He does lose a Raven. Oh, my gosh. Interference Matrix goes down. The tank Raven Viking coming forward. The Cyclones as well. He's jumping on top, dude. Maru's in trubs right now. Maru is getting routed. Some people would say rooted. He's getting rooted hard. His army's getting routed. They're running away. And what's he going to build? 3 Vikings. He's got a few tanks that are just now starting. Or actually, he's building Cyclones. Well, I mean, he's just dead. Guys, the Cyclones are not going to defend this. Tries to pull the boys land. The Vikings cure with an excellent game 1. And he does it with such a defensive style. Really well done. Wow. Cure crushing game 1 against Maru. All right, guys, let's go. We've got Cure in the top left side now, up 1 game. And he's going to do a cheeky build. Barracks gas into second barracks. Is this a proxy Marauder out of there? Or is it just 2 Rax Reaper? I don't know. He's going to try and cheese Maru. Maru's going to SCVs. And these barracks locations always look so dodgy, right? But I'm pretty sure that SCV naturally paths to this area, which means it's well out of being scouted. I love the idea. You're up a game. Cheese the heck out of him. And especially if this is something where an SCV scout doesn't ring any alarm bells. This could be good. Now, technically, if Maru goes in and scouts the SCV count and counts them, you can tell what's happening, but that's super high level. And he's just checking for the command center. Ooh, he's not going to count the SCVs. I don't think he goes all the way in. Oh, wait, he sees no factory. He sees a second gas mining. He sees no factory. He should know he's getting proxied. He should know he's getting proxied. Okay, Maru should be fine, I think. Second Barracks Reaper is there. He's not building a bunker. Maru. Where the factory should have been down. He saw workers mining the second gas at a minute 45. Factory should be down before a minute 40 with the double gas build. Why would it not be placed over here? Doesn't add up. Does not add up. But Maru's just like, nah, I can defend with just Marines, man. Reaper into Marines. He's going to try and skip the bunker, which I guess kind of makes sense because bunker's not going to cover down there, is it? Reaper's going to run in on the natural. Yeah, losing the SCV is not the end of the world. Problem is, even with 2 Marines and a Reaper, those Reaper grenades are going to wreck you. Oh, and he has to cancel it. Yeah, he should have made that call earlier. If he was going to pull back, he should have made that call earlier. That delay on that command center is going to hurt Maru. This puts Kua in the advantage. And he's just got lots of Reapers coming out. He's still building Reapers. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude. He might be able to just kill him here. Sorry, guys. Oh my god, if you can get that Reaper, it's going to be huge. Maru does kill 1 more Reaper, but there's still 2 alive. He pulls out. Dude, Kua could have got more damage. That Cyclone was still 10 seconds away. Maybe even more than 10 seconds. It was like 15 seconds away. He could have killed more SCVs. Kua missing a bit of an opportunity there. He gets some damage, which is good. But his command center's just started, remember. Even though it's on location, it's just started. He could have killed 2 or 3 more SCVs. I guess he was maybe worried a Hellion would pop out, but slight misjudgment of the timing there by Cure. Safe rather than sorry. I mean, yeah, fair enough. Normally a good way to play, but a bit overly careful costs him. Cure's up 2 workers. Command center building on location is always nice as well. He's got 2 barracks up from the early game. So one of the nice advantages of this start is you do already have that second barracks. You can naturally play a 2-on-1 follow-up. He's going to build a single medevac and a cyclone. Marines being built here as well. MARU oversaturated on 1 base. The income difference should show up. I mean, the income tab doesn't really tell you anything in this matchup because obviously mules are intermittent. So right now MARU has 2 mules. His income should be way higher. But in terms of actual kind of spread on the SCV mining, the moment this finishes for Cure, should have a slight advantage. On the other hand, Maru's is only a few seconds behind. Not a big deal. Just a 2 worker lead. Overall supply is very close between the 2 players. You can't blame someone for not knowing something that they shouldn't know. That's a good comment. So you actually can know based on your timing. Assuming MARU played his build perfectly, you should know what time that cyclone pops. But it's obviously it's hard. It's hard to piece all that together. Especially down to the second in the heat of the action. But that is something pros are usually very good at doing. That was a really good reaction by Cure so far. Cure's lost no units. Dude, he didn't even lose a Marine. That was sick. That was sick. So well done. Sorry, guys. During the Reapers jumping in, I had some phlegm coming up that I just had to keep muting my mic and kind of coughing a little bit. Hacking up a lung over here. Do apologize for the gap in content, by the way. If you guys want to, you know, support me buying a new lung, don't forget to check out Patreon down below in the in the video description. Shameless plug as I try to cast for a day here. Feels good to be casting some StarCraft again, though. It does feel to be good to be back on the stream. Checking out GSL. Loser's match is going to be SOO BYUN, which is kind of a banger. And winner of that will play the loser of this match, man. BYUN and SOO are watching right now. Like, please, MARU. Please do not die to Cure right now. We come on, man. We don't want to have to beat MARU in that final deciding match. That'd be just unfair. MARU's Cyclone Drop comes in. Cure prioritizes defense over counterattacking. This is just that safe mindset of Cure, right? If this was BYUN, he would have dove that drop in right then. Cure's just waiting. He's just like, nah, just focus on the defense, repair my Raven. Third command center started now. It's already up ahead for MARU. Unit count's very similar, 3 tanks each, 14, 15 Marines each. Both sides have 2 Ravens. I mean, this is as close to even as it gets. Cure with a slight worker edge, but overall, this looks like a dead even match. MARU does get extra barracks down now. Cure already has the second barracks, remember, from the earlier stage. But interestingly, he's not using it to go into 2-1-1, like the stim or anything. He's actually pumping Vikings. So Cure wants to be aggressive right now with a couple Vikings using the extra tank that he's got out right now. Cleans up the Marine in the middle of the map. Marine drop in the back of the mineral line comes in, taking out quite a few SCVs. I'd love to see him save that drop. And he will. He's going to get out with the drop. Very nicely done. Ravens coming forward. Interference matrices on those tanks could absolutely win this for Cure. Cure can break this position. He can break it. Oh, he's taking tank shots, though. Oh, no, Cure. Takes 2 big tank shots. He's going to go for it, though. And look at that. He sees the unsiege, so he doesn't drop the matrices. He was planning to. But look at that. The tank gets a shot off on the Reaper as well. Q is just going to take position here in range of the production. And he's just going to create a nuisance. And as that tank sieges up for MARU, he backs away. At this point, you got to be careful of the counterattack, though. MARU may move across with some form of counterattack. Oh, MARU's going for it. MARU goes for a huge fight. Auto turrets are needed for Cure. Cure does throw a lot of interference matrices and auto turrets. One tank of MARU still shelling, though. And that tank is making a world of difference. But wait, interference matrices are going to wear off on the right side first, which means Cure starts to fire a little bit earlier with his tanks. But there's a tank on the high ground for MARU and a landed Viking. MARU with an impressive hold. Cleans up that army. Both sides keep their Ravens alive, but look at the tank advantage. Now MARU's on 4 tanks. If he repairs these units up, he's got his 3rd floating down, which is nice, but he's been on the back foot for a long time. Notice he's only now building his 2nd engineering bay. He doesn't have add-ons on those barracks. He's down 9 workers. So Cure, even though these trades are pretty even, they're almost dead even, Cure's on the aggression, and he's macroing completely uninterrupted behind it. That being said, his 3rd barracks is a little slow, but his 1-1 are tied up there well ahead. Even building a missile turret. I kind of wish the missile turret was up there a little bit, but I guess he wants to block this drop path as well. Only 2 tanks versus 5. Maru's ahead. I mean, the Viking count for Cure plus defender's advantage should keep him alive here. Such a small map, Ghost River. Oh, okay. Maru's going to siege up over here. I don't know if you can get in range of the gas. I think you can. You definitely get rid of the depot and the turret, though. Any value is better than no value. 5 racks on the way for both sides. Tanks sieging up there. And indeed, yeah, you are in range of the gas, the depot, and the missile turret. Some nice value. Pulls back, though, very early. That's a lot of Vikings. Oh my god, he's going to go for the intercept. Wow, I didn't realize Q's whole ground army was moving. I thought it was just the Vikings. Oh, wow. Oh, Maru's stuck. Uh-oh, Maru's stuck. He's going to try and break those rocks. Oh, god. Q dives. Q dives. Very decisive for Q here. Oh, this Vikings are just checkmating him. The Viking checkmate. He can't move down. The tank's getting sieged up on the 3rd. The SCVs are fighting, but they're fighting on their own. Okay, the army does break up through the rocks. The SCVs going in way too early. The Vikings take out one of the Ravens before it can land anything. The other one does land 2 auto turrets, but the Vikings landing for Cure. The Marine tank Viking doing so well. Maru's tank advantage not worth much because they're unsieged, having to fight into a deadly position. And Cure, yes, he loses the army. Maru makes an impossible hold, but a 23 worker advantage at the tail end of that. Cure has a 4th on location. Now, this is the point where, honestly, Cure, you can't lose from here, man. You should never lose from here. Your 2-2s on the way, your vehicle weapons. All you need to do is just keep making army and keep on doing similar sort of attacks. You don't need to do anything special. Just keep spending your money and keep attacking. Why am I saying this? Because I've seen Cure lose so many times from this position against Maru. And if he loses this game, 100% Maru wins game 3 just because of the psychological kind of elastic band effect, the bounce back, you know? That's going to happen there. 3 tanks. Maru has the tank advantage. Similar Marine count. Sensor tower kills worth something. Oh, Maru's Marines moving in. Second factory is on the way for Cure right now. 7 Marines being built at a time. Maru doesn't even have add-ons on his 4th and 5th barracks. Oh, Maru's going kind of all in here. Maru's really trying to punish him right now using the tank Viking lib advantage. Oh, this is big. This is big. Oh my god, he's pressing him up against the wall. He's putting Cure under a lot of pressure. Cure quickly saves the tank. Nice move for Cure there. But this is such a good way to punish a Cure who lost all of his Vikings. He landed all the Vikings to kill all your workers. Now you're the one with the air control and the tank positioning. But there's a lot of Marines for Cure. I think if Cure can flank this position with Mass Marine, maybe. Just because even though you've got shields and 1-1 as well. Few Marines run forward to take out that tank. Nicely done. 4th base is up in the bottom, still mining, but Cure now finds himself in a tough position, and as Maru, once again, he always seems to be aware of what advantages are available to him in this matchup. So many players would panic there, but he says, no, I'm behind in workers, but I'm ahead in tech units. Let's use that advantage. Cure does get rid of one of the Liberators, but dude, Maru stims forward right there, trying to pick up some Marines on that south side. Dude, Cure is getting pushed in. Oh, no. Oh, no, he's stuck. Like, he just doesn't feel like he can invade there. Maru's Marines down there have to be careful, but look, he's killing so many SCVs. His tanks are sieged up. Cure. Oh, no. I thought he had it. He's waiting for 2-2. He's got 2-2 about to kick in, guys. 6 seconds left. The Marine count is actually ahead for Maru now. His Marines are a little more damaged. I like the idea of this guy's going in here. Oh, can he get 2 kills? Cure goes in. He's going to get 1 kill. The Raven gets shot down. He's going to go for it. Massive stim coming in. Cure comes in with the stim. Maru's Marines are heavily damaged. Interference Matrix land on one of those tanks as well. The Marines coming in from the left side as well. Cure is so far behind in supply. He's lost his 3rd and is natural from mining. But the Marines with 2-2 are doing some big damage. He's even picking up low hit point Marines. Dude, he's up 12 army supply. He manages to hold on, but he loses 51 SCVs. All Maru needs to do is survive at home. He sieges another tank on the front line. Maru should be pulling home. He should not have sieged that tank. He should have been boosting home. He's got to pull back to the main. Pull back to the main base. All you need to do is survive, Maru. Pull back, Maru. I don't know why Maru's fighting out here against the 2-2 advantage. I guess he wants to stop the tanks from sieging up. He's going to get his own tank sieged in a good position right now. Maru chasing into the 2-2 Marines, but each one has its own personal medevac healing it up. And Maru taps out. What? What in the heck? I really thought Maru could pull back and hold, but Cure gets it to 0. Waits for 2-2 and gets it with a vicious counterattack. GG, well played. Guys, I want to point something out. Remember, Maru's production sucks. He was so all in on that counterattack. He never built reactors on these, so he can only build 7 Marines at a time. He wasn't building workers either. So, I mean, he can still transfer workers down, but like, you know, he wasn't like super high on workers. But yeah, I really feel this was like, at this point, if he just pulls back right away here, it's game over. Like, imagine if he has 2 tanks sieged up here. What's Cure gonna do, man? But he keeps fighting in small fights where the double upgrade advantage and the medevac advantage like massively helps Cure. This was a huge mistake for Maru. Maru made a clutch comeback from a completely dead position in this game. Like, he was so dead. Clutch counterattack, gets the advantage, and then he lets all these Marines die before the SCVs even get in there as well. Yeah, big mistakes here for Maru. Really big mistake. No need to fight there. Cure can drop in the main. I mean, it's not even about dropping in the main, guys. If he drops in the main, he's losing time. Every second that goes by is super rough for Cure. Now, to be fair, Q is still building 10 Marines at a time, I guess. As long as he can drop mules there, he probably has enough income to support enough Marine production. But, I mean, there's no problem with him dropping in the main. I mean, I'm literally saying give up your 3rd mineral line, pull these SCVs back, defend over here, or definitely give up this area. Any second that goes by, your defender's advantage is going to kick in and your tanks are going to get in better positions and stuff, so... Yeah, Maru really screwed up fighting down there, and then fighting here as well. He should have just pulled back a little bit further. This was a big mistake. At least pull back to like this area, let him kind of come up the ramp a little bit and block himself sieging on his own ramp. You're going to have much better fights. Really good comeback for Cure though. After securing the win, letting Maru get back to a winning position, and then he manages to do it. This was such a classic Cure versus Maru match with everything in this second game. Everything except for the fact that Maru actually lost for once. Hot damn. All right. This should actually be a really good match. I have no idea how this one's going to go. SOO in the top left side of the map, BYUN in the bottom right. And you know what's fascinating is, oh, BYUN's going to go 2 racks straight. But I mean, SOO handled it really badly against Maru, but I feel like SOO will handle it better this time around. So maybe BYUN not picking the smartest idea. But to be fair, I think he's happy for SOO to handle it okay, right? BYUN just likes the opening, so fair enough. I have seen SOO struggle against BYUN's multitasking with drops. I've also seen SOO struggle in late game, which, you know, like BYUN versus Ragnarok. Now, Shin, as he's called, he'll turtle to late game because he knows that Shin is more of a mid-game guy. And even though Shin can play Broodlords pretty well, he's so reliant normally on just smashing 100 Banelings into you repeatedly that BYUN knows if he just turtles up, plays to late game, he can usually beat Shin there. And I think if you can beat Shin in late game, you can definitely beat SOO in late game. So the question is, at some point, does BYUN pivot from a standard aggressive Terran in that direction? Or does he just go even more all in? Because remember, SOO's big weakness is ultra late game and early game timings. He's very good in the middle stages. I'm not saying he's like, oh, he's so weak to any early attack. He's still got to execute it really well because SOO is one of the best Zerg players of all time. I mean, he's made it to more big finals than most people have competed in tournaments. Did they ever have candy cigarettes that they let you smoke in Australia? Yes, I believe they were called fags as kids. But people were like, oh yeah, get a pack of fags. Like, because that's obviously what people would actually call smokes back in the day as well, ciggies. No one's used that in a long time really, but I'm pretty sure people actually called that as well. Yeah, I remember they got rid of it sometime when I was real little. So early 90s they would have, and then they renamed it to fads due to the name controversy. Didn't they ban the whole thing because it was advertising to kids as well though? Pretty sure they banned the candy smokes, yeah. They're like, hey, we probably shouldn't be trying to onboard children into smoking. Like, it's actually, yeah. You can still get them. Whereabouts? So I think you can still get them in America. I saw them in the old-timey candy shop I was in, but not sure about Australia. I don't think you can get them in Australia. Australia is pretty anti-smoking, man. We got, like, pictures of diseased livers and stuff like that, and cancerous body, like lungs and cancerous body organs all over the packaging. It's crazy. You can still get them, and you can also get Big Boss cigars as well. That's cool. I thought they got rid of them when we were kids. Maybe they just stopped selling them because they weren't popular. Because I remember them when I was real little, and then I just I haven't seen them since. Reaper's getting decent damage. SOO just basically didn't go for the third this time. And he's trying to drone really hard. Oh, BYUN goes for the old fake out, but the queens are there. No, this is a way better response from SOO. Look at that. Even gets a Reaper kill. This is such a good response. Look, his mineral lines are already saturated. He can also transfer a few of these back onto the gas. This is great. He's just got to secure the third. He's a little bit slow to get his creep out. That's the one thing I'd be critical of here. But because link speed's done, BYUN has to go home. So he's like, that's fine. We get our third hatchery up at 340. Is that a little late? Yes. But you can use this time to just pre-drone it. Like, there's nothing wrong with droning the base before the third base finishes. A lot of players think, oh, if the base isn't finished, I can't drone. Yeah, they'll mine kind of inefficiently, stacking up on these extra patches or long-distance mining for 1 or 2 trips, but that's not a big deal because you haven't taken any direct damage, and that's probably more important. Third command center is almost finished as well. Starport factory is there. I always enjoy the Reapers combining with the Hellions, because if you get 2 or 3 Reapers from the early game, you can bounce these queens and start absorbing damage and healing as well. So I always love the Reaper Hellion combo. He's going to try and get these creep tumors before they finish. There we go. Does get one of them. Cloak. Okay, Cloak is something which a lot of players like to build against SOO because SOO's generally very all in. I'm someone who I'll own up to it now, guys. I see a lot of people die to SOO's roach attacks, and it befuddles me because he'll often show that he's playing roaches, and they'll see it, and then they'll just like move out and attack him. And I really feel like if you're playing safety banshees into double upgrades here as BYUN or for 3cc, you have to play a very totally safe defensive play in the mid game to make sure you don't die. Now, what's scary here is that's carapace, roach speed, but only single evo. Second evo goes down now, a little bit later. I wonder if we're going to hit like a Ravager Ling. Going up to 5 gas right now. How much? I feel like this is just a handful of roaches. I think he's going to go melee. I think he's just going to go like 5 or 6 Ravagers, maybe 10, 15 roaches in total. And then he's just going to go to Ling Bane from there. I think that's what SOO's plan is, but we'll find out soon. Banshee coming in, gets himself a couple of drones. Well, actually just one. Good pullback by SOO. Very slow on these Spore Crawlers. I mean, this is where the Banshee kind of pays off when they're really not expecting it off this sort of opening. Gets a lot of mining time there. 3 drones. Oh, derps back in the wrong direction, but does get out. And that one will grab just a couple of workers. 2. A nice Spore Crawler to save that one. Overseers are now finished. The Banshees have to pull away. Up to 5 barracks behind it. Third command center has landed. 1-1 upgrades are over half done. So it's a pretty decent setup here for BYUN. Its first tank is about to eject itself from the factory. And it is indeed melee straight into infestation before Baneling Nest. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been talking for a long time about how skipping Banelings is actually the smartest way to play this matchup and get infestors and dive. I don't think SOO's planning to do that, though. There's no way. Is he? I mean, yeah, okay, Baneling Nest is just so late. So late. Uh-oh. He's only got 3 roaches out. He's got a lot of Ravagers and roaches morphing right now. BYUN's going to try and catch him with this timing. Hellion Reaper will eventually deal with those Zerglings. Oh, SOO goes for a little trap there, but BYUN's too quick for him. Marine tank in the north going to do pretty well against the handful of Roach Ravager that's ready. A few more Marines stimming on forward. The tank hasn't really done much in the army versus army battle, though. Good choice to pull out. I like that push for BYUN in that he didn't overcommit, but units lost tab looking great for SOO. SOO's 4th base is there. Hive's on the way. +2 carapace hasn't started. There we go. And +2 attack starts for BYUN, just missed. Seconds behind it. It's +2 armor as well. 4th command center's on the way. Building a bunker at home. I think this tells us everything we need to know. Remember what I said earlier? Will BYUN pivot into a turtle style at some point? And I think the answer is yes. Yes, he will. Overseer there, ready. I kind of like the idea of setting it up like that because it really makes BYUN think, oh, you're about to Nidus worm me. That's why he's got these Marines ready. He's expecting a 1-1 Roach all in with the Nidus in the main. That was very popular. Rogue and Dark, I believe, both did this in in Dallas just the other week. Hey, Heaven, how you doing, mate? Yeah, I've had a throat infection all week. Feeling a lot better today, but... Dude, you make me cast an hour-long cure versus BYUN TVT. Throat does get a little scratchy. Marine Hellbat moving to that south side. Roach Ravage chasing after it. He should have enough space to pick up most of these guys. I think he wants to trade out the Hellbats because they take up a lot of space in the medevacs. Second factory's coming in. Fourth command center. Oh, sorry. 8 more barracks coming up as well. A single swarm host building. That's an accidental rando Calrissian swarm host. Ooh, good deny on the Evo. Gets rid of +2 melee. Remember what I said about SOO struggles with BYUN's drops a little bit? It's a very low commitment drop. Like, BYUN's really not committing that much. But, oh, yeah, these guys are deep in the red. Don't want to throw too many guys away. That one wasn't worth it at all. Fourth command center is floating down. This building placement's actually kind of nice. It creates some choke points, so if the enemy does come in, these tanks are actually very well protected by all these buildings. At this point, I'd just leave like one Marine up there and bring these guys back to the front. Get a Viking to deal with the Overseer. Ultra Caverns on the way as well. I wish Hellbat Bio was better. It looks so cool. Yeah, I mean, it's you know, Hellbat Marauder Bio, I feel, is like really good up to like mid-diamond, maybe high diamond. And then it just falls off really hard once the Zergs hit a certain level of figuring out how to deal with stuff. Ooh. Once they have enough Banelings in there, the Hellbats just disappear. It's so hard to keep your army spread out. +3 weapons, +2 vehicle weapons is on the way. Marauders are building 3 at a time. BYUN better get concussive shells though, guys. He's forgotten concussive for now. When you go Marauder heavy, that's such an important part. 5th Command Center building 85 workers. BYUN is preparing for a long game here. Remember, SOO has the longevity in a StarCraft match of a drunk man standing up upright at the urinal on a late night. It's just not going to happen, man. He will lean against that wall. SOO is not a long-term player, but Baneling's on creep. These Marines is a crazy move for BYUN right now. Banelings connect, but only with a few of those straggler Marines. And you know what? I think overall good hold for SOO. SOO only loses like 5 workers. Actually, those Lings are getting ravaged. Oh, but the Parasitic Bomb is nice. Parasitic Bomb does come in. Doesn't really stack damage. He decides to unload those Marines, realizing it's going to go down. Can he get out? That Spore Crawler on that right side is going to take out 1 to 2 medevacs. Oh, it's going to get 2. Oh, this is actually really good trade for SOO, I think. Yes, BYUN's drops annoy SOO, but I don't know if it's worth it. Units lost tab's fine. I think SOO's happy to take these trades because it's BYUN who needs to make sure he has enough support for his tanks. BYUN's playing a little bit cavalier right now. Yes, he's adding some ghosts, but I always feel like ghosts aren't that important against SOO. That being said, SOO's going ultras, so it is perfectly timed ghosts, I guess. I was going to say SOO's pretty famous for just sitting on Lingbane Viper for long periods. Problem SOO has right now is Roach. It's a Roach problem. Roaches are a problem for Terran in the early mid-game. In the late game, Roaches are a problem for Zerg. How do you get rid of this garbage supply and get any value for it? And the reason is, honestly, just start killing them yourself. Just like they're so... All they're going to do is block your Banelings. They do so little damage. He needs to get rid of these Roaches. Bile does finally take out that medevac. It's a lot of... It says 111 army supply, but it's 111 army supply, 34 of which is garbage. Enzo, thanks for the raid. Hope you had a great stream, mate. Marines dropping on this north side. These middle bases are so vulnerable on this map. These Marines just emerge out of the fog. No chance to respond to it. I do like that BYUN's just doing light harassment while turtling at home. I think this is the perfect way to play against SOO. Oh, he's going to try and get some snipes. Oh, might be going a bit too far, though. The Ultra Baneling turns on him, but luring him into the tank fire. Only one siege tank goes down. Drop in the north does go down, though. As BYUN, if you can get a planetary out here, we always say that this ridgeline is where you secure Oceanborn. Once you have tanks there, sensor towers forward, this whole middle area becomes like a no-go zone for Zerg. And then it becomes much easier to defend this base, move out to this base, and kind of slowly secure the map. Now, hats off to SOO, guys. He's doing a good job of taking the forward bases, but he needs to transfer workers from his back bases to those forward bases as soon as they're up. This is something a lot of the modern Zergs forget to do all the time. I don't know if an old school Zerg like SOO is just gonna have that practiced and ground into his system. He really should. Let's see how up to date he is, especially on Oceanborn. You need to start mining these out well before 15 minutes if you want to have any chance of winning the late game versus Terran. Overseer in the back finally gets cleaned up. You can see, look at this, guys. He's creeping planetaries forward. Because SOO is a player who you know is going to run into you at some point. You're just waiting for SOO to do what SOO does. And he's going for Hydrotech right now, which I've always felt Hydrotech in the late game is garbage. There's not many good tech choices. You do need something that shoots up. I do think having a stack of Corruptors is much more mobile. Able to nab a few of those Liberator and Medevac kills. I think a lot of pro Zergs disagree, say the Hydra is the more versatile unit. I think in the late game turtle situation, I don't know. Same supply, Corrupt is much better in my opinion. Takes 2 snipes to kill as well, which actually matters a lot. Planetary on the right side, very undefended. There's no support. He's got to run the SCVs. Oh, he's trying to drop on that right side, but actually those units get jumped on. Planetary's going to go down. BYUN a little slow to evacuate, but the SCVs do get out. A lot of his units die on the right side. A lot of his SCVs going down to the Banelings as well. Really sloppy defense for BYUN. Despite that, he still comes out ahead in the units lost. But remember, guys, he should have realized, hey, with only 1 lib, no tanks covering that, to get out with the SCVs immediately. But because he was trying to run away with those medevacs and unloading units and they got jumped on, he had to frantically micro the right, the left, try to snipe and pull SCVs at the same time. That's very hard to pull off under pressure. Very, very hard. SOO's had these bases now for 2 minutes, minute and a half, hasn't transferred workers to them. Taking the bases this early is pointless if you're not going to transfer workers, guys. Right now is when SOO has a massive bank advantage, and you use this bank advantage to hold these middle bases. He just transferred 1 worker to the right, 5 workers to the left. This is such a basic thing. And if you guys hear me sound frustrated when I commentate StarCraft play in 2024, guys, it's because if the players were studying correctly, they would know this is absolutely crucial. And I really feel that SOO's being incredibly lazy to not focus on the most important thing. Raynor talked about this 6 months ago. The World Championship. A lot of players have been talking about it over the last year. I've been shouting about it since Glittering Ashes 3 years ago, when there was a really turtley map pool mining out your opponent's bases in a turtle meta against a Terran who clearly just wants to jerk it in his side of the map like BYUN right now. That's what you have to do to win the game. Ultraling Bane coming in on the left side. Ghosts are there, though. Ooh, Blinding Cloud does land on one of the tanks. The Viper's starting to go down to the missile turrets, though. Baneling's rolling in. They're going to take out the Planetary in the bottom. But at what cost? It's a lot of units going down. It's going to take out both Planetaries, though, which is pretty nice. There's still so many Roaches blocking the Ultras. That's what I'm talking about. Those Roaches, man. They're not really doing anything in these fights. They had a little bit of damage, but that's about it. Counterattack for BYUN in the north will kill 2 bases, but I actually think that was a great move for SOO. I think that might have been the setup for the victory. We might look at that last fight, that bust, and just go, hey, that wins the game. Because there's so many tanks that weren't part of that fight, so many tanks and libs, and killing all those bases is massive. Yes, the units lost tab is 5,000 resources in favor of BYUN. BYUN has no bank. If you keep blowing up 2 to 3 planetaries, 20, 30 SCVs each time you go in like that, as SOO, you should be fine. Especially if you transfer workers. Why has he only got 10 workers? What's he doing, guys? He could be mining this base down here as well. Definitely could have mined about 1,000 resources from that base on the right before it went down. Sloppy. Now, a lot of people, they have been critical of me recently, and I think with good reason, saying I talk too much about what the Zerg should do in these scenarios. Great move with the snipe. Gets a Viper. Hold on. Finish that thought in a moment. Oh, good hot pickup for BYUN. The reason is, every Terran kind of does the same thing in this scenario. You turtle, you build your walls, you defend, you do some light drop harassment, you poke out with some ghosts, look for some snipes. It really is the Terran saying, I'm going to build a city, and it's all about how the Zerg breaks it that creates the flow of the gameplay, in my opinion. Now, don't get me wrong, BYUN's doing a great job of building this wall off, much like we saw with like Oliveira versus Raynor over in Dallas. But it really comes down to how the Zerg choose to try and break this. And I think you've still got a big bank advantage. Trying to break through the south side again would be good, but notice how BYUN's moved some tanks forward, so I think you need to get lings on these exposed tanks. Go in with 30, 40 lings, kill a few tanks, attack the north, go in with a few 30, 40 lings. Anytime you can find unsupported tanks, those are the juicy pickoffs. 11 Hydras are in the mix now. I don't think Hydras are really going to do much here. He's still got 9 Roaches and 11 Hydras. These units are too slow, not explosive enough. They're going to struggle to get on top. Ultraling Bane, massive attack goes forward. Ghost coming out. But the Banelings are in front. Looks like the Planetary in the reserve as well as the tank Ghost doing very well. And dude, he still hasn't got rid of these Roaches. This is a big misstep for SOO. 2 big strategic missteps. Keeping the Roaches in his army and not fully mining these middle bases as early as he could have. This is such a hard map for late games EVT. It's so difficult to play. And I think it's something where because you play it every series and you often end up in this scenario, you should be well prepared. That being said, it is a Terran-favored map at this stage of the game, and I love what BYUN's doing. He's playing exceptionally well. Now, on the other hand, he's very weak to a Broodlord transition right now. He has 19 siege tanks, only 12 ghosts for anti-air, no Thors, no Vikings. I think a Broodlord swap would have killed him, and SOO has had more than enough money to do it. I think the Hydra and Infestor swap did not make sense. Getting a few Infestors out with Burrow is always good, just 2 or 3, but Hydra's nowhere near as good as Broodlords would be in this scenario. BYUN is playing a style that works really well versus a non-Broodlord player, but Broodlord players can absolutely wreck you. One full medevac does go down. BYUN has a forward orbital, someone was saying. Yeah, I think because the planetary died. And you can always lift an orbital, which is good. Oh, Lings find the tanks. Can't go too deep with the Banelings, though. Gets himself a command center and a few tanks. Nice cleanup for SOO. SOO's still not fully mining this base. Oh, it's unfortunate, man. He's had control of this base for the last 7 minutes of this game. And just hasn't been utilizing it. And as all of his bases mine out in the back, he loses control of it. How many times have I commentated this story? The regulars on the channel know. But it's something you've got to find the time to do when a Terran goes into this very turtle mode. No Overseer. Uh-oh. Those ghosts are going to cloak and get out of there. You're kidding me. Oh, wait, no. Here we go. He does get some snipes off, but a lot of ghosts going down, dude. These are good trades for SOO. BYUN's got to be careful with trades like that. He's out trading SOO, but not massively. Oh, we got rid of the Overseer on this side. The Banelings manually detonate, but it's not enough to kill anything. Oh, these ghosts are actually trading so well. Very nicely done. Ghosts finally going down. One of the most important things is army supply management. That's why I've been complaining about the roaches. There's still 14 supply. But what SOO's done really well is just a few spellcasters and 3 queens. He's also letting his drone count start to drop, which allows him to replace that with more army. And I've got to give him credit where it's due. That's really well done. Unfortunately, though, Liberator on that left side denying that mining. This right side base is up, but he's not transferring workers to it. He needs to punish the fact that BYUN's army focuses on the left. You need to instantly saturate this base. But only a few drones moving there, and it looks like they aren't a large number. Oh, no! An Infestor and a Queen get sniped. No Infestors left alive. 3 of them rebuilding. Plus 3 flyer attacks on the way for the Corruptors. I do think, like I said, Corruptors are way better than Hydras for dealing with the Liberators. You can also morph Broods. But because it's been so long now, he's like, okay, you're going to go Broods, aren't you? So he's building Thors. Hellback Ghost there. The Thor does get caught out. Nice Blinding Clouds. The tank's layered backwards. These planetaries on the top right, not quite up just yet. There is a planetary down to the south, though. The Ghosts are kind of getting overrun. SOO, I think, taking a pretty decent fight here. Ultras will kill at the base in the bottom left. Is this planetary in the middle going to go down, though? If SCVs repair it, I don't think so. Planetary in the bottom left does go down. That other planetary is in the red and burning. A nuke just landed. No, a Liberator harass just killed 10 workers up top. This Ghost starts to fight, kills a Roach. The Ultras turn around and do make quick work of it. Planetary does heal up there. It's Liberator, up to 16 kills now, looking pretty darn good. Yeah, BYUN's not being efficient enough, guys. He's lost 8,000 resources. If SOO had mined the middle bases, he would definitely win. Even as it is, the fact that he's mining these 2, I think he might have this in the bag. Look at his bank. And SOO might actually win this game. Just because, like, yeah, you're ahead 7,000, but 7,000 resources. You've spent more than 7,000 on planetaries this game, right? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got like 5 extra planetaries. That's a huge amount of money. You're building all these extra upgrades, all this extra tech. BYUN needs to slow down and be really more careful. He needs to make sure there's Ghosts and Hellbats guarding his tanks. And he needs to have a few more Liberators potentially spread into these fights as well. He's got to deal with these units correctly. He hasn't been able to land the big snipes on the Ultras when these engagements happen. He also hasn't been able to EMP the Vipers, and that's been a big issue. Ghost snipes coming down. A couple of snipes land, but dude, big fungal. Oh, the Banelings actually killed most of the ghosts. Dude, SOO has it. SOO actually has it. He just got rid of all the ghosts. He got rid of all the ghosts. More fungals are landing. The Corruptors are cleansing the Medevacs and the Vikings. More Ultra Link coming in behind it. And yes, the command center goes down to the bottom left. The planetary wasn't quite finished. It does get cancelled. That was a brilliant fight for SOO. Wait, SOO's out of gas? Oh, God. SOO's out of gas, guys. I said SOO's done it, but he's actually out of gas, which means he can't quite remix. He's got to put on gas right now. Oh, me, oh my. He's just put on this gas. He must have lost the workers there because of the Liberator harass. Liberator harass has been ruining his income. This might not actually be over yet. I thought SOO had broken him, but as long as BYUN can blanket some mules there, he might be able to get back in this. 9 Ghosts, 11 tanks, 1 Thor, 5 Marines. I really think BYUN keeps expecting a Broodlord swap, and SOO's just hammering him with Ultraling Bane Corruptor. One of the best compositions in the late game. It's so maneuverable. You guys have seen me gush over how effective Ultraling Bane Corruptor is over the last 6 months. If you're good enough with your movement, and you fight where the terrain is not strong. No, not. He did actually have +3 on those queens. With the +3 armor keeping that lib alive a bit longer than I thought it would. SOO's on 58 drones, 5,000 minerals in the bank, guys. I mean, at this point, SOO, you just got to spend your minerals. Just build lings, dude. He's still got 11 lava available that he's not spending. He's ahead in supply. He's ahead in army. Dude, if he can deny this base and just smash this position one more time, I think he has it. But this next fight is so crucial. I think BYUN's a little clumped. BYUN might be a little clumped right now, but he knows what's happening. He knows it's all about defending the space, because this one, out of minerals, out of minerals, out of minerals. This is the lifeline of BYUN. He's out of gas right now. He's in such a bad spot. But Marine drop in the top right, denying mining there. There is still a base here and a base here. SOO's got a lot of mining. SOO's got a lot of mining, dude. I really felt like SOO doesn't have much late game potential. And to be fair, missing the Broodlord swap was huge. But looking at this game, he's shown an impressive ability to stay calm and just take good fights without overcomplicating the game at all. And it was, you could argue, you know, if BYUN played this a little bit more efficiently, a bit more MARU-esque in the late game, I do think it'd be very different. But BYUN just wasn't able to defend efficiently enough, despite playing a mass planetary siege tank style. And that should have countered what SOO was doing in this game. It didn't. BYUN just did not set up his units correctly. He did not play well enough with his defense. Two Ghost Hellbat drop on the right side. The gas income is not bad for BYUN. Remember, he's still got gas mining on a few of these bases. 2 bases. Snipes the Queen. Hellbat's roasting some of the drones. Hellbat goes down. With the tanks covering from the low ground, bit of an awkward spot to be in for SOO. If you could just click on the medevac, that'd be great. Here we go. Hellbat goes coming forward on the left. Oh my gosh, SOO attacking into a very awkward angle. SOO, no! Oh my gosh, SOO just attacked around a corner with his whole army. That was a disaster. Luckily, does kill these ghosts in the top right. That's nice. But in the bottom left, he's going to lose control of this base and all of that mining. Oh, SOO was doing so many things so well this game. I still feel like Broodlord swap would be a good choice. He does not have a great Aspire, though. He's got 2 Spires. 3 Infestors building. 12 Ghosts, 14 tanks, 3 libs, 25 Marines. The trick with Broodlords is you don't want to commit to an all-out fight. You just want to get those tanks, pick them off from afar, kill a tank, pull back, kill a tank, pull back, keep rotating where you attack from. Use that new Broodlord mobility rather than the Broodling damage, since the Broodling damage is so low these days. SOO's still got a giant bank. Oh, Infestor just walks through that scan. Oh, he's going to get a full medevac, and he's abducting tanks as well. Wow, that's kind of hilarious. He actually ran forward hoping to abduct the tanks and then realized, oh wait, there's a full dropship here as well. Oh wow, he's going to get rid of all the tanks though. Okay, 1 tank still on the right side. Pretty good moves. He could abduct that last tank as well. I like the Viper usage there. But SOO's taking massive losses now. He is down about 7,000 resources in the units lost. This is rough. Gas goes down. He's building lots of Hydras right now as well. Maybe. BYUN, he's getting so much value out of this base. Remember, this base over here has been mined out pretty much forever. He's going to have to take this next one to maintain pace with SOO. Oh, that's a mistake. 5 Hellbats run forward and they tickle an Ultralisk before the Ultra Hydra takes him out. These are the sort of trades that I keep talking about, where BYUN will take some really good fights and then he'll throw away a bunch of units. He's got to be a little more careful, a little less panicky. Ooh, snipes take out a couple Corruptors. A couple of drones going down. Ghosts are really hard to deal with because even if you come in with like Vipers or whatever, it can be tough. Saves one of the Ghosts there as the Hydraling runs in. He's looking for the abducts. Grabs himself a Ghost and another Ghost. BYUN Got a sensor tower here. You got to be using it, mate. Abducting everything in. Medevacs, tanks, and ghosts. And BYUN not really answering that. Guess he's decided that's okay as long as I mine this left side of the map. But SOO's doing a good job of reclaiming some mining on the right side. He's still got quite a lot of minerals here as well, guys. A lot of minerals. Still got 500 minerals there. Fair bit of minerals back there as well. SOO just has so much money available, whereas these mules have been draining BYUN's income so hard off that 9 orbital count. Every upgrade except +3 ship weapons is there for BYUN. BYUN's not a very patient player. Not even when he turtles, he does sometimes just throw his army away a little bit more than he probably should. Gonna need to send some Lingbane Hydra in there. Dude, SOO's showing great patience. I gotta say, SOO's definitely surprised me with his ability to adapt to this modern slow turtle meta. He's taken surprisingly good fights considering how hard it is to take those fights on Oceanborn. And SOO's really showing that evolution that he needs to really become a top Zerg in 2024 and reclaim that position that he was at many years ago in StarCraft 2. Oh, nice abducts. Couple of tanks and ghosts going down. BYUN's got to get better with his snipes and EMPs. He can't be letting these happen. As always, BYUN's answer is to counterattack. Whenever BYUN screws up in a fight like that, his natural instinct is to out-multitask his opponent. It's not necessarily bad, but it's not as much of a sure thing as something like just turtling up and beating them on the front the way MARU would focus on it. See, BYUN's like, you do damage there, I'll do damage there. But then he's not watching, and then, you know, the Hydras or Corruptors just kill the medevac, right? And it's like, well, it's not the worst trade, but definitely not the best trade either, you know? +2 flyer carapace coming in for SOO right now, but losing control of this mineral patches is definitely nasty. And remember what I was talking about earlier with the mining guys? Imagine if he'd fully transferred workers to this base and this base earlier. Just how different the result is. Because every mineral over here that you mined out would be less minerals for BYUN to mine. And it always ends up in this position. And it's really upsetting, I think, for the SOO fans to go, oh, if he just moved those workers there, could have mined that for 3-4 minutes. Uncontested. Big advantage for him, you know? Corruptors do clean this up. The Hellbat's having a party, making this hard for SOO to mine. I think sometimes people question me about this thing I harp on about with stealing resources. It's something you do when the Terran shows no intention of trying to play a tempo-based momentum style. It's when you see, oh, he's building 2 planetaries in front of his 3rd base. It's when I'm making 10 orbitals and just chilling. SOO hasn't been maxed in a long time. He's going to go for the Broodlord transition, guys. Broodlord transition. I think that could be a game winner. It's either going to look really good or really bad. Problem, he's only got 2 infestors, and he doesn't seem to have a control group for them. Oh, no. That's unfortunate. I don't expect great finesse from the infestor control. I mean, it is SOO. He's not really a great spellcaster user. These guys can definitely claim this ledge for a little while, but it's going to be hard to get too much more than that, because if the ghosts can EMP the infestors, they can smash snipe the broods. 18 ghosts against 14 broodlords. Oh my gosh, where's the infestors? Oh no! Oh my god, he's already losing like 4 or 5 broodlords! SOO! Oh, damn, he gets like, I think he just got 1 ghost for 4 broodlords. He's got to be careful, man. You can't be throwing your broodlords away like that. You need infestors here to deal with it. Where are they? Okay, so now he's brought his infestors up. Yeah, because you need to be able to throw those fungals. Of course, it's hard across the ledge, but you can still throw a fungal to there or there. Ultraling Bane's going to run in here and deny this. He's like, no, how dare you? You think you can mine that? There's no way, mate. BYUN's maxed out, and he's made a killer army. Terran's always slower to get forward and kind of mine these bases, but once they do, they always have a much deeper set of minerals to draw from if you don't eliminate those minerals earlier. And this is where we see kind of the Zerg just slowly slip away in this game. SOO's finally expended his bank. He's got to use... Where are the infestors? Where are the infestors? Oh no, where is his overseers? Guys, his overseers over there. Oh, this is... Yeah, I mean, SOO's not really a technical Broodlord infestor Viper guy. He kind of runs in with his whole army there, but to not have... So normally what you do, guys, in this scenario is you'd have an overseer following this Broodlord, overseer following that Broodlord, overseer following that Broodlord, And then you also might have some with your army key as well. You have overseers all spread around, but SOO's not practiced at this stage of the game. And even though he showed really good Ultraling Bane Corruptor, his Broodlord play doesn't have the depth. Like, the fact that he didn't even pre-pull Infestors over and he only did it after the first fight went bad tells you he's not as confident with these Broodlords as he is with those more basic army compositions. Oh, big Broodlord volley, but he's going to lose 2-3 Broodlords for it. A couple of Marines and Ghosts trying to push through the middle. Sucking up these resources is huge for BYUN. Yes, SOO's mining some resources over there, but he's losing the gas mining, which is huge. There's still 1,800 gas there available. So I love that these two tanks are still denying that. And then you've also... Oh my gosh, the Broodlords once again just running into the Ghosts. That's the SOO that we haven't seen yet. The one that I've been going, oh my god, he surprised my expectations, but now he's just grabbing his army and throwing it in. I think he's lost hope at this point. He put up a really good fight. But as I said, once it gets to the late game, usually not a match for a very patient Terran. Ultra Bane kind of just rolls into the middle of the tanks. Blinding Clouds are actually very nice. Broodlord's starting to overwhelm. Hold on. Hold on. He's going to deny this base. He's going to deny the base, but there's a lot more units coming through the middle. And what's the follow-up on that? Because remember, a lot of that army survived. Yes, BYUN loses a command center. But is that good enough? Look at the supply, man. 60 army supply advantage. There's still 7 Broodlords. That's not that many. 13 Ghosts, 9 Tanks, Liberator, 8 to 10 Hellbats, 7 Medevacs, 3 Marauders, 5 Marines. Thors are being built as well. SOO's still got a bit of mining on that right side. There's just no way for him to close that economic gap anymore. And you can notice the way he doesn't use his Infestors and Broodlords fluidly. So what you pay attention the next time you see Serral, guys. Watch his Infestors and Broodlords and how they get used together. He only does it now with 5 Broodlords and 1 Infestor, and the rest of his army is too far behind to effectively support. BYUN comes forward, snipes the Broodlords, cleans up everything else with his overwhelming numbers, and BYUN is going to take a very slow, hard-fought late game in Game 1. Alright, well, BYUN looking pretty good in Game 1. There was definitely a few dicey moments there. I do, and you know, someone in chat, Drone, pointed this out after the last game. On that southern 6 o'clock base, maybe halfway through that game, if SOO just kept on hitting, he could have been pretty inefficient and probably could have overwhelmed him. I really do feel if he went Corruptors sooner, especially, because there was a point where like the Libs were kind of holding him back and just like a handful of Ghosts and Tanks, but earlier Broodlord transition could have done things, early Corruptor transition, but I think in general, just keep doing what he was doing, just attack harder and faster and deny that bottom base, because remember when that was all of BYUN's income? And he just managed to mine it with like 1 billion mules? If he wasn't able to mine from that, all of that mass orbital investment would have come to naught. Nonetheless, SOO played a pretty good game. He definitely out-exceeded my expectations of what I thought he would be able to do in late game against BYUN. And now he's gone for a 15-15 on post-youth, trying to get this gold base up, or semi-gold, as quickly as possible. BYUN's gone for this command center. I actually, oh, by the way, guys, so I played a dude the other day on this map. He went command center first, and then hit me with a 2-on-1 at like a really early timing, because command center first on the gold, right? Really good income boost. And then he teleported 2 battle cruisers into my base at 6 minutes 20 on this map. And I was just stunned. I was like, what? You can do that? And I was like, apparently command center first on the gold with like a few gold patches really can speed your builds up a little bit. So it's actually kind of crazy, dude. Drone does go down. Pretty good to start with a drone kill. Definitely should have saved that SOO if he was a bit quicker on the spore trick. He's going Ling speed. Now that's interesting. Ling speed, but it feels like SOO's playing a slow third. So I wonder, do we try and just sneak a drone past the Reaper? Surely you want to get that third base sooner rather than later. I don't know why SOO's taking so long to move this drone down. Okay, there we go, finally. Because I was like, man, you really don't want it after 3 minutes. Oh, BYUN, you greedy boy. Still no third base. Wow, finally at 3:06, very late third base. Does get scouted. Third command center is already underway. A little bit of a lead on the third base for the Terran. Not something you see too often, but on this map, does make sense. Creep spreading downwards. I always feel like creep here into here is quite nice, rather than putting 2 right on the front, but I guess that tiny little area doesn't really matter too much. You're going to spread it in front either way. Stim's already started for BYUN. I always wonder, is it really worth starting Stim before you even start the second or third barracks? I always feel that's like one of those small things where Terran players could maybe optimize their builds just slightly more by delaying that Stim. It's not a big deal, but it's just one of those things. I often feel like there's no way you're going to have an actual army out when Stim and Shields are done off this timing, but we'll see how it goes. Like, I feel like there's going to be a big gap between Stim and Shields. Hellion run by. Hellion run by. Oh, there's no Lings out. Oh, no. He tries to Evo wall, but he didn't have enough drones in position. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, this is so bad for SOO. Trying to fight with his workers as best he can. He's already lost 6 of them. He's already lost 6 workers, and there's so many more. Oh, good Evo chamber blocker. That was clutch. That was clutch. 7 workers in total. Dude, this could have been worse. SOO's crisis management was exceptional. I still think that's, like, pretty rough with how much mining time he loses there, and he's also not injecting and stuff, so he's, like, got to get back to his macro. You can see his queens are immediately shooting to those hatcheries to get those injects down. And he starts a lair very quickly. I guess he's worried about Banshees behind it. It is, of course, 3 barracks into the double engineering bay. And the starport is there as well. Okay, so we've got 2 gases up. Roach Warren into single Evo feels very similar to the previous game, right? I don't know. This seems like an odd build order, but that's kind of... SOO has his own take on how to play StarCraft. I'm really curious if he does twist anything into his play. I feel like taking this gold is really hard to defend as Zerg, but if you go Mass Roach Ravager, you can kind of do it. Problem is, if he takes that place, Terran's just going to push forward, take this watchtower, and then they're just, like, the watchtower basically covers your 4th. So, generally as a Zerg, yeah, 4th base on the left is probably going to be a bit easier to defend. Second Evo's coming in. No Carapace starting on the first one just yet. Starts range, cancels it, starts Carapace. Now he's going to go range. I mean, we know he's going range, right? From what we just saw. Marines coming forward, first 2 medevacs as well. Ooh. Lings are going to buy a bit of time. This is really important because SOO right now is supply blocked with no army out. Even delaying those Marines by a few seconds was pretty big. BYUN's being really greedy right now, guys. 4 Marines does not defend that many Lings. Oh, jeez. BYUN should not be fighting like this. His Marines should have pulled into the pocket, and his SCVs should have done hold position, if anything. Terrible choice for BYUN to fight there. SOO gets a massive amount of damage. Small Ling run by, low cost, low investment, massive payoff. Queen Roach deflects, only losing a queen or 2 at the home. That is a fantastic start for SOO, and BYUN, he saw the Lings, and he just got way too cocky. Yeah, like I said, I think you could squeeze the Marines in there, and then if he, like, stacks the SCVs and tries to hold position, it's a different story, but you're just going to A-move your SCVs like that, not even just mineral walk them back to the main. Huge mistake for BYUN, and costs him big time. SOO now, he's got Carapace on the way, not using his second Evo, but he's got Roach Ravager pumping. +1 range finally does start. It's a good fight for SOO. SOO's happy to lose 2 Roaches for 3 Marines. He'll take that trade. Spores and Queens are ready. I love these 2 Spores. I'd actually kind of shift that up even, just to stop the drops going to scooting around the very top side. But Overlord well positioned as well in the dead space to see when he does arrive. Marine for a Roach is obviously positive trading for BYUN, but overall, units lost tab in favor of SOO right now. SOO's up 20 workers. This is the sort of nightmare game. You never want to play SOO from this scenario. There are players who screw up from this position. SOO is not one of them. SOO should monster mode BYUN from here with just mass units. That being said, I mean, he's not on Ling Bane. That's the one big weakness of his style, is there's no Ling Bane transition yet. It's just pure Roach Ravager. And he does appear to be playing it as an all-in. But I think on this third base is really bad to defend. I think if he has this third base, BYUN might be able to defend from Roach Ravager. This third base, whenever you take a frontal third, it's very weak versus Roach Ravager. This is something where MARU made this mistake like every year at Katowice over and over again versus Rogue, and Rogue would just kill him with Roach all-ins. Because MARU always wanted to take the front base, and every time he took the front base, it felt like Rogue would hit him with that 1-1 Roach all-in, and the tanks just don't cover far enough. You can... Like, these tanks are pretty good, But he needs Marines in front as well. They're not in position right now. Dude, SOO gets rid of one of the tanks with... Oh, God, he saves it. Dude, that micro is so slick. Yeah, as long as he runs the SCVs back a bit. This is actually really cute micro by BYUN. BYUN saves both tanks. Wow, BYUN actually doing really well so far. Tanks on the high ground getting some good shots off. One of these tanks and a medevac goes down to the bios, though. Another tank's going to go down. He's got to keep pulling back, does BYUN. BYUN's got to pull back his bio. If he loses his bio, then he doesn't have any mobile units. Dude, his medevacs are getting killed. He's got to be careful. He's going to pull the SCVs now. A bit of a late pull on the SCVs. Remember, the SCVs are a tank, not deal damage. So you want to pull them when you have a lot of units fighting. But he pulled them when he only had a few Marines and Marauders left. So that was a bad pull by BYUN. It was always a rough position. But I do think if he had to pull the SCVs, he should have done it a little bit sooner than that. At that point, he probably should have lifted the third and just chilled for a little bit. Either way, though, Mass Roach Ravager plus 2 Carapace almost done. SOO realizes any trade's a good trade for him right now. There's just no way BYUN can keep up with his numbers. Three starting for BYUN. His 4th command center is finished on the high ground. Can he survive, though? Tank fire is pretty effective on that high ground. But the Roach Ravager are dropping biles all across the Marine Marauder. Ooh. Oh. I feel like at this point, you just want to bile the command center, man. Bile the workers, you know? He's still trying to bile the Marine Marauder. This fight's kind of turning against SOO, it feels like. But, oh, he gets another tank. The SCVs. Yeah, don't fight with the SCVs. Not when you've got no firepower left. Those SCVs need to just pull back, man. BYUN just doesn't have the numbers. There's too much. There's too much for SOO. As I said before, any fight's a good fight for SOO. He recognizes that, and yeah, he doesn't have +2 range, but he doesn't really need it. He's got the numbers. Bile spreading across those SCVs. Very nice play here. I really feel like SOO's Ling run by just put him in such a good position, and against SOO, you can't give him any early advantage like that. Because he's so decisive at this stage of the game. He'll just keep macroing perfectly while attacking. I don't think I've ever watched a StarCraft game where I've thought, oh, SOO looks nervous. Right? There's times where he looks like he doesn't know how to win, necessarily. And he's just kind of bashing his head against the wall. But he always looks confident as he bashes himself to death. Whereas other players start to make basic errors. SOO never makes basic errors. He makes strategic flaws, like all players do. Doesn't always have the full skill set to win in every situation, like all players. But most players, they fall apart sometimes under pressure. SOO does not. SOO knows when he's got the advantage, he will just keep on pushing. And that is exactly what he's going to do here. Desperately trying to hang on to this third base is BYUN, but his tanks keep dying. The Biles keeping his Marauder Marine constantly stutter stepping, trying to avoid death. Tanks on the high ground on 19 kills. Sergeant Chadhammer on the left with 29 kills. Even though she's got some good shots off, though, remember, these tanks on the high ground aren't covering the Roach Ravager until they get in deep. And that's a problem. You need all your tanks kind of together, creating more ranged firepower and superiority, and that's just not something BYUN can afford this game. 25 more workers go down, 3-3 finishes, and he's going to have 2 Marines, 2 Marauders with 3-3. Third command center gets biled down. SOO ties up the series. All right. Impressive handling of that Hellion run by in the early game. That emergency Evo chamber in the natural saved his bacon. And really well done by SOO to bring it back from there. Ling run by. Massive damage against BYUN. I gotta say, it's kind of crushing for BYUN. It's got to be really annoying because it's just one of those brain fart moments where, like, I don't really see SOO making the mistake BYUN made, where he, like, sees the Lings coming, killing his depot over there, and he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna move out with everything anyway, and then just lose all your Marines and SCVs in your third base because you massively miscalculated. That's like, you know, BYUN I relate to as a player, because that's the sort of mistake I make, where, like, I'm like, nah, I can get away with this ridiculously greedy high-risk move, and if it works, like, man, I will look like a god, and if it doesn't work, I'm gonna look like a bit of a dum-dum, but it is what it is. Now, SOO's going Gas Pool Hatchery. So he's going to go quick Ling speed to shut down the Double Reaper. I actually don't know if this puts you ahead as the Zerg, because even though you're countering the Reapers, as long as BYUN doesn't overcommit, build 3-4 Reapers, get them surrounded, I think he should be fine. All right, Ling's going to move around the left. Sorry, guys. Just hacking up along again there. All right, command center going down now. Very standard command center. No third barracks, nothing like that. Two Ling's going to try to run around, but I think the add-on or the Reaper will be popping at the right time. We'll see, though. Okay, he sees the hatchery timing. He's going to send his other Reapers home. Just the right choice. Yeah, he sees, oh man, he sees a lot of gas mined. But the thing is, that doesn't tell you that much because the natural just finished. So he could just be about to pull off gas, right? Reapers clean up the two Zerglings. Nicely done. Factory goes down at home for BYUN. The question is, are we getting all in? Because there's more Lings being built. There's still 2 workers on gas. I mean, this could just be a Baneling bust all in, right? SOO does like to mix in a dirty all in once in a while. He does them with the best. When one base Ravager got discovered, SOO did it pretty much every game versus Terran for like a month. It was hilarious. They just couldn't figure out how to defend it. And he just kept abusing it because the rush distances on the maps in early Legacy of the Void were very short. He kept just going one base Ravager time after time until a few of the guys figured out how to deal with it. Nice snipe on the Creep Tumor. Doesn't lose a Reaper. Very well done. Until the Lings catch her. And then it's not so well done, is it? It's already got one Reaper low in the red. One Reaper does go down there. Looks like he's going to lose them all. It's a good cleanup for SOO. He's already ahead on workers, and he's got his third base started at a reasonable time, man. This feels like a very comfortable setup for SOO. One where BYUN, yeah, I mean, even workers, third command center almost done ain't bad, but you got to be a bit paranoid as well. Like, what if I get Bane busted right now? Surprised he's not building a bunker or anything. This is a very scary spot to be in my opinion. Very blind for Terran. What do you think is BYUN's most disgusting build? His dirtiest strategy? I don't know, guys. In this matchup, I think he has some really good 2-base timings. Especially like back on the Data C map pool. There was so many nasty tank spots that he could abuse. Where he could like siege a tank kind of like below your base or something like that. And he would just slowly play out. Like when he plays a 2-base all in, because it feels like you shut down a wave or two and he still ends up winning. Third hatchery is there. Lair started up. Second and third gas is coming in. Evo chambers there. Yeah, BYUN's famous for his Reaper micro. He got the Reaper nerfed on 2 to 3 separate occasions. Kept winning with it. Watchtower there, giving that high ground vision. SOO's building roaches once again. Man, he loves this early single Evo, but I haven't really seen him use it for either defensive or offensive timing. It's kind of funky. Thank you very much, Hedgie. Much love, mate. Great to see you. So there's a few more roaches coming in. Oh, the Banshee gets spotted. SOO sees the Banshee. Spore crawlers? Or actually, he might not even bother because he's got the lair. So he builds one spore on the natural, and I think he's just going to be fine covering the other bases with Overseer. Yeah, this is really good. Now, SOO is already building quite a few roaches, so part of me wonders if he's going to try some sort of like 60 drone, you know, Ravager bust or something like that, but he's building a few more drones, so he's probably just macroing. I think he's just trying to stay safe because he knows, you know, 2 racks Marine. We got to be careful against this. Marines moving forward through the middle right now. Going up to 5 gases, SOO. No preparation for a 4th base just yet. Not really something that he needs to do because, well, actually he does, right? Because that 3rd command center has already landed. If BYUN just chills, it's going to get awkward for SOO. Second Evo chamber's on the way. It's quite far behind, though. Banshee on the left side. It's only a single cloakless Banshee. Oh, so he gets a Spore Crawler in all 3 bases just for 1 cloakless Banshee. That's a really good value. That's great for BYUN. BYUN's Marines down here. He doesn't have enough space to pick up all of these. Got to be careful not to get jumped on by the Roach Ravager numbers. Okay. Yeah, a little bit risky. I think he's realizing he's being a bit risky. SOO has a Changeling there as well. Damn, dude. SOO sees everything, but SOO's kind of just stuck on 3-base Mass Roach Ravager. Now, in this scenario, as BYUN, You haven't seen a fourth. You really should basically just turtle at home with Marine Tank and be mentally prepared to pull the boys. Because Sue's going to 1-1 Roach Ravager all in, have all your tanks here, all your Marines, and pull the SCVs to tank before your Marines die, and you should be fine. That being said, Sue's actually going to go late 4th base into a Hiveling Bane transition. I can't believe it. It's so slow. This is a very slow transition for Sue. This doesn't feel great for him. I don't think it's the end of the world. I just feels like he's accepting going to late game from behind. And with how that ended on Oceanborn, I do worry for him. On the other hand, this map's actually a bit better, I would say, for late game Zerg than Oceanborn. Oceanborn's a bit more Terran favored. Nidus Worm did scout that main base. 4th command center halfway done here for Terran. 2-2's on the way for Terran, while +2 Carapace, +1 range is on the way for Zerg. Hive's there. He hasn't made Ling Speed yet. This is kind of a problem, because you end up maxing out on... This is the problem with late Hive, guys. Late Ling transition. You forgot Ling Speed. You don't even have Bane Ling Speed. Your 4th base isn't fully mining yet. Like, yeah, it will be soon, but like, you kind of... You feel like you need to make more Roaches here, and then you end up on 30 Roaches defensively. Roaches are good for hitting timing attacks. They're good for shutting down timing attacks. But if BYUN doesn't give you a good fight, and he just, like, maxes out, your army's going to suck. Now, he's starting to build Zerglings. Oh, he had Ling Speed from the early game, didn't he? I forgot about that. So weird to be playing this much Roach Ravager off a Ling Speed start and not be hitting a timing attack, but... you can make it work. South side, Marines coming in. Secretive angle, gonna clear the creep. Get themselves maybe a few drones. Kind of funny, I think Sue just a bit slow to respond. BYUN expected him to have already responded, so he didn't get in and get as much damage as he maybe could have, but still. Free damage is good damage. 4th command center moves out to the left side, goes to Academy. 2 more command centers. 3 more barracks going down. He's already on 2 factories, right? What's he building, though? Is it a reactor or a tech lab, guys? Tech lab. So he's gonna play mass tank again. Ooh, good pickup. Does take a bile or 2 to the face of that medevac, though. Got to be careful. Big thanks to the hype train, those watching live. I'm going to give you guys big individual thanks after the game. Just want to say a big thanks now to say thank you for the support. Thanks for keeping it going. Sorry for the voices degrading here towards the end of this series, guys. I did not expect so many long, epic games. I feel like last year there's a lot of GSL series that were like one-sided and quick, and I've decided to start casting the whole day, every day, the day after this season, and we've kind of just been rich with epic games. Marines moving north. Oh, here we go. I really like the way he's threatening, and he's not really committed at all. He's just building a 5th command center. He's got tanks on the high ground. Man, he's going so mass command center. I would normally say he's being a little bit too dangerous, because, like, Sue has a giant army supply advantage and could go for a big, like, all-in. And what do you have guarding your tanks right now? No, guys, it's not just... It's 100% this is just silly greedy from BYUN. To have every Marine on the map, I mean, if Sue runs in right now and kills all your tanks, like, you might just die here. You're essentially defending with mass SCV command center right now. But it's okay. High risk, high reward is BYUN's middle name. As long as Sue's defending the whole time, you won't get a chance to attack. That's BYUN's whole kind of strategy here is I'm just going to have 6 full medevacs on the map at all times, being annoying. Ultra Caverns coming in, +1 melee, almost finished. Overlord speed does start up for Sue. It does feel like even though there's 2 factory tech lab, there's only 1 tank building at a time. I think BYUN may have forgot to control group the 2nd factory. It's actually could be good for him, because remember, Sue went late Broodlords previously. If he went earlier Broodlords, I really think he could have caused more issues for BYUN because he was so tank dependent. There we go. 2nd tank finally starts up there. Doesn't have a rally point just yet, but that's okay. He's got the 3 extra tech labs here. Concussive shells, 3 more command centers going down. And this is everything he's doing, guys. I could not watch these drops at all, and I would be giving you a more accurate representation of what BYUN's focusing on, because BYUN does not care about these drops. He's literally just like, hey, Zerg player, distraction. And Sue's like, what? And he's like, distraction, look over here. Let me build 14 command centers, please. Just give me a minute. I'm going to build 14 command centers. If you let me get away with this, you're going to get wrecked in the late game. But Sue, he's banking. He's got a giant army. He's once again got 1 billion roaches in his max, which makes it much weaker. He's got to start trading. And there is no way he can let BYUN get a 5th base for free. Guys, so many command centers. One of these should be a planetary. Yep. Yeah, planetary on the right. But wait. Yeah. So one orbital, one planetary. That's going to be a planetary as well. Dude, he's already up to how many orbitals? 6? He's already up to 6 with a 7th about to be finished at 12 minutes. My gosh. 3 factories building as well, so we can make mass like Hellbat, Thor, all sorts of stuff. BYUN. Gotta be careful though, don't get caught out. Sue's coming. Sue's coming up. Oh, I'm coming out. And I want the Terran to know. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, for sure. I feel like Sue's kind of just chilling, and that can't be good in the long term. Like, his bank is huge. He's got to start doing something. Maybe he's going to wait for the 6th base for BYUN. He's respecting BYUN a lot right now. Okay, Sue's going to take forward bases, which I love. But remember what you have to do, guys. You have to transfer to those bases and fully saturate them. This base, very important. This base here, also very important. Taking the gold base, that's ballsy. But if you pull it off, it's huge. Ooh. Medevac unable to save that ghost. Spire finally comes in. +3 melee starting, +2 ranges on the way. I like that he's not bothering with Hydras this time. He's going Corruptors. Just remember, like, BYUN's army quality is improving. He's going up to like 16 tanks, +3 vehicle weapons. Ghost count's good. More turrets, more sensor towers, more planetaries. Planetary. He's got like a triangle of planetaries in the top left. Gold base will get denied. Neuroparasites on the way. I don't know if I've ever seen Sue land a Neuroparasite. That would... I want to see Sue rock up with 10 Infestors burrowed and Neural like 10 Thors or tanks. That'd be amazing. If this was MARU in this setup, I'd say he's unbeatable, but we saw BYUN lose a lot of trades to Sue in the late game on Oceanborn. EMP gets dodged. Nice dodge on the EMP. Extra EMPs go out once again, not landing. Don't know if that's credit to Sue's amazing dodges or BYUN maybe just not aiming his EMPs as well as he could have. 2 Infestors. I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't think you can really dodge EMPs reactively, but you can kind of see the ghost running forward. You can guess where it's going to EMP, so you can kind of predictively dodge. 3 more ghosts here. Blue Flame. 2 more command centers coming in. We're up to 9 orbitals right now, which is massive. Medevac slowly getting chipped away by the parasitic bomb. BYUN's actually trading worse than Sue because he's refusing to fight. But the thing is, if you can't even mine this base out, you are screwed, son. And he's once again not mining this base fully. This is such a huge... I don't know, someone who's friends with Sue. I don't have his contact, guys, but I gotta hunt it. I gotta be like Solar, bro. Whisper in this guy's ear. Saturate those forward bases, my man. Because only putting like... He's clearly only transferring workers as other bases mine out. Whereas, like, we all know, hey, you're going to get to mine this no matter what. Grab these guys and just move them up. Oh, this is not a good spot. Double EMP on the Vipers, guys. You cannot fight into this choke point. He needs to make a play right now. Okay, right now, Sue's getting baited into fighting in a choke point. That's actually kind of a slick fungal. But every time the Banelings move into those tanks, it's really bad. Big counterattack on the right side for BYUN as well. You need to shove up the guts. Right now, you need to, like, break this planetary. You need to get an opening. Because BYUN is on 5 bases. He's really well established. Sue's going to lose this middle base. And this middle... Dude, if BYUN mines more of the map than you... I mean, we thought it was looking bad. Yeah, he goes up the middle. As I said, he needs to break open a hole. If you can break open a hole in BYUN's defenses, you might be able to do something. Going any deep is probably a mistake here. You know, blow up the planetary, rotate back, go for a different side or something like that. Corruptors are now building. He's only got single Spire, +1 flyer weapons. Drones all get caught. There are still 9 orbitals up. So remember, anytime he gets a base and he feels like it, BYUN can just drop mules and be amazing. 2 more starports. I do expect like fusion core upgrades. Sue's stopping him from reclaiming this area and spreading creep. I love that. I think Sue's doing a really good job right now. The problem is, the more time you give Terran, trading evenly now doesn't matter. Because the longer the game goes, the worse this gets for you. Terran is securing middle bases right now. And we're still on Mass Roach. And this, to me, I'm like, Sue, what are we can't still be on Mass Roach. You got to throw these roaches away, dude. But he's instead trading mostly Lings and Banes in every fight. His Roach Ravager's kind of chilling in the back, so they never die. And this is the thing. This is why I say sometimes you got to kill your own Roach Ravager. I do like this move. Gets rid of some tanks, gets rid of some medevacs for the Corruptors, but at the same time, counterattack for BYUN's going to run down that right side. There are some Burrowed Infestors underneath his feet, funnily enough. Tank in the back as well as these Ghosts will end up defending this area. Corruptor's going to try and take down that command center. Bottom right side, though, there we go. Hatchery and a few drones will be falling over there. A couple of the drones, funnily enough, do escape thanks to the Broodlings tanking damage. Corruptors slowly I guess not peeing, they're just projectiling down the command center. Not sure what, I think it's Acid Spores is the name of their attack. Fair enough. Oh, Fungal does come up out of the ground, but only catches a few units and loses a few Infestors. That's a great fight for BYUN. Oh, man. At least most of the Roaches are gone now. SOO's going to have a much more mobile, explosive army. But the Corruptor's a little bit slow to get back over here, and so those medevacs... Oh, one of them might go down. Trying to unload in the combat zone. BYUN with absolutely zero fear in this game. A couple of those Ghosts will get surrounded there, but Overseer goes down to missile turrets, and the Cloaked Ghosts will survive. Mass Ling running forward. Where's the support, guys? He's on pure tank. The Lings are doing pretty good, but the Planetary does clean up the Lings in the back. Command Center does left. He's not building any Marines. It's just Hellbats, Ghosts, tanks right now. That's why, once again, I do feel like if he'd gone for the surprise big sudden Broodlord tech switch, BYUN's style is incredibly weak to it. Because if you make 15 Broods, you've got 8 to 10 Infestors, and you just shove in and use those Infestors to zone the Ghosts, or if you get just one good ambush on the Ghosts, Ghosts can out-micro Broods and destroy them, or they can be out-microed and be destroyed. It's a micro battle. That being said, correction, SOO hasn't practiced that, so it makes no sense for him to do that. That's something you need to spend many hundreds of hours fine-tuning to be good at. Serral, Dark, a few other guys mix that in once in a while, not many other players. Maybe Nidus is in the back. He's got to crack open a new front. These tanks are just so far back. The problem with not being good at Broodlords is it allows your opponent to play a mass tank style like this. But Baneling's getting on top, Baneling's getting on top, Baneling's getting on top. Oh, big Baneling hits on the Ghosts. Big Baneling hits, but there's a Planetary to fall back on. Those Ghosts tried to land their snipes, but look, Command Center does go down in the gold. But as the Baneling started to detonate just before they went off, that was big. Now, BYUN is barely more efficient than SOO this game. Normally, that's a disaster for Terran. To be fair, if SOO retakes this base and mines it in the midst of all this happening, maybe. SOO's still not fully mining this base, which is an absolute travesty. He's only on 58 workers. SOO's made a decision off such a big bank to say, well, let's get a bigger army. That's the correct call. He's not maxing out right now. He's been doing that a few times on Oceanborn as well. Definitely would like to see him max out, and I really don't want to see any more drones. Nice snipes coming down, getting an Infestor or two. 2 Infestors do go down. Nicely played there by BYUN. Got to get these sneaky Infestors in his back door, mate. A Ghost does go down. The tanks are getting jumped on. Great fight here for SOO. Corruptors gunning down the medevacs as well, but good boost backwards. Lightning Cloud on the tanks on the left. Double Planetary defense. Double Planetary, but not with a lot of support. The Ghost getting some decent snipes off, but man, SOO's busting through. SOO's busting through right now. SOO is busting through. This is huge. This might be game-winning. Remember, the other weakness of Mass Tank is that they're sieged up. They're spread across all your bases. They're not over here. He's got like 14 tanks spread across this whole left side of the map that aren't helping right now. That's why his army looked so small. BYUN takes catastrophic damage, and SOO finally swapping back into just Ling Ultra Corruptor with some Banelings and actually destroys a few Infestors and Vipers in the mix as well. Who knew SOO would be a competent double spellcaster player? This is awesome to see this evolution of him using the Infestor Viper really well to complement his army. But BYUN is just not playing a technical late game style. He's playing a mass tanked style, but he's spreading them across way too many areas. And you can see even here, he should be focusing on defending these 2 bases and putting all of his defense here. Instead, he's spreading out. He's going to say, I'm going to build tanks on the left and tanks on the right. This is what we call the 50-50 split. It's where you split half your army to one side, half to the other opposite side, in a position where there is no way for them to possibly reinforce. This is a really good strategy when we're talking general warfare, classic military history. If you've got a more mobile army, splitting your army into 2 halves like that, where they can choose to engage and sandwich your opponent, you know, like a hammer and anvil or something like that, or something where you can outflank them and evade a front-on commitment where they use their whole army versus half yours is good. But because BYUN has a less mobile army, this does not make sense. with a less mobile army, you need to make sure you're all focused in one position. And you can see he's now focusing on that right side. It looks like it's just a planetary and a 2 tanks, more as a denial force on the left. That I can get behind. That's more of a strong point. That does make a lot more sense. Now, I mean, SOO looked like... I mean, I thought he could bust through, but look how quickly BYUN has remaxed here. What the hell? How did BYUN remax so fast? Man, what's his production? 8 racks, 3 starports, 5 factories. Yeah, right. God, I forgot about the 5 factories, guys. He doesn't even need reactors on them. He does have reactors on 2 of them. Oh, that's a lot of drones going down. Dude, I really thought SOO'd broken him. But he took so long to do it. We got to realize just how much BYUN had invested in his infrastructure by that point. He let the Zerg have a 12k, 6k bank. No matter how many snipes, eventually Ultra Ling will win. Well, that's not how it works. Because SOO hasn't mined this base, and he's only mined a little bit of this base. These are the 2 central bases on this map. Well, actually, this one's actually his own base. So he's actually losing control of one of his bases. He's losing this game right now, is SOO. Oh, my God, the snipes. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I don't have words. Guys, that was a terrible fight. It started okay on the right, but then his whole army was on the right, and all those ghosts and tanks on that high ground sniped every ultra. The few lings that came in to try and interrupt got eviscerated by the Hellbats. That was a devastating fight. You know what's crazy? It's still relatively even units lost. But units lost being even doesn't matter, because remember, now you're losing. This was meant to be, I call it a middle base. This was meant to be BYUN's base, I guess. But if BYUN gets this side base, gets to mine, I mean, you've mined out, what? A bit of it. Once again, he could have mined thousands more resources if he fully transferred workers. And then this one over here, SOO didn't get to mine at all. So BYUN's going to both mine more resources and be more cost efficient in the long term. BYUN has to play careful because he doesn't have a huge bank, especially his gas is very problematic, right? The gas gets chewed up so quickly with his style. Ultra Ling Bane Corrupt is very good in mobile games, but he's got to go to the left now, crack through this area. If he breaks this left side, then I think he can do it. But right now, SOO's... I mean, I've always criticized SOO for being a bit frontally minded, and he's doing it again. He's going to go for a frontal fight. The Corruptors are doing good versus the Libs, though. Can the Infestors get in range? EMPs all over those Infestors. Only one Infestor left. It goes down to the Libs. The Banelings crash through a lot of the Hellbats and Ghosts as well. But is there enough follow-through for the Zerg? It looks like there might be, actually. My God. Is he actually going to break another army? I can't believe it. SOO's got gas in the bank. BYUN doesn't. Dude, he's got him. He's got him. I think he might have him. Because BYUN's out of gas. So if BYUN loses any of this gas mining, he's screwed. Ultra Ling Bane Corruptor catching BYUN a bit too far out in the open. Remember, he had a lot of tanks still spread across the map over here that weren't with his army. He also, I believe, had more workers for a few moments in this game. Now he's getting jumped on economically, and I can't believe it, man. SOO just patiently outweighting his opponent, letting you come too deep into his territory, and pounces on that army. We are going to rewatch that fight for sure. But the mixture of Ultra Ling Bane, if the Ghosts always beat Ultra Ling Bane if they're set up behind layers of planetary fortresses. And if they get caught in the open, that's where it's a big problem. You've really got to realize, as a Terran player, if you move all your Ghosts out into the open like that, it's unnecessary, and it's something BYUN never should have done in that scenario. Remember how I said BYUN needs to be careful? Like a minute before he moved his whole army forward and get wiped? Because Zerg doesn't have a way of forcing those fights to happen. Whereas in the long term, Terran can always chip away at you with their range advantage, with their spellcasters. Just little by little, slowly suck up those resources and those bases. And I think BYUN definitely overextended, and now he's got to make a bit of a comeback. Mass Marine Marauder in the mix, but watch out for the Fungal boys. One good Fungal on this pack, and you know SOO's going for it. He's going for it. Mass Ultra Ling Bane coming in. Not many snipes available. A couple snipes on a single Ultra. Great Fungal. Great Fungal. Gets a second one as well. The Corruptors. Look at how much value those Corruptors are getting. The Banelings, the Ultras getting rinsed, and SOO takes out BYUN. And he's going to get a rematch against MARU to get to the next stage. All right, we got to look at that fight for sure. I really hope MARU plays late game against SOO, just so he can show us how to play properly. Okay, so check it out, guys. So this is the point where it looked really good for BYUN, right? SOO has more bank, especially in the gas, right? But let's see what goes on. So first things first, BYUN's up 7 workers, which means 7 less army supply, right? But he's also got how many tanks? 3? 4? Only 4 tanks spread across. That's not that many. Only 4 tanks missing from the fight. The rest are kind of like, yeah, some of these, I guess a lot of these are pretty far back. But yeah, interesting. Oh, so this was the really bad fight for SOO, wasn't it? He starts with a good fungal, but then he loses like so much stuff. The snipes popping all over him. Oh yeah, this was a really bad fight. Let's check the units lost before and after. Let's actually look at this objectively. So units lost tab, yeah. So before this fight, BYUN is down 3,000 in the resources lost. And it's just these ghosts on the left there, protected by the terrain. Oh. And now he's up 300. So that's a 3,300 resource swing. So that one was excellent for BYUN. And then remember, all you need to do is like turtle up and play safe and calm. But much like Clem and BYUN are basically brothers. They know only to attack. They not know how to. They never like. There are points in StarCraft where you just need to, as we say, waistband it. You just need to calm down and chill out. But BYUN's like, cool, I'm winning this game. Let's go push, which is the last thing he needs to do, especially looking at his gas bank. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you pushing here? You just don't need to. He should just be sitting there entrenched. But he's like, it's fine. I've got this sick army. And I mean, like, it could absolutely go perfectly for you this next engagement, and it could work. But it's like, wait, why are you pushing? Dude, you're not only securing one of your middle bases, you're also securing one of his middle bases. So you're up in mining, and as long as you're behind layers of planetaries and stuff, like, you really can't lose. In this scenario, you're meant to build a planetary here, build a planetary here, secure this base, and if you can deny this with light harassment, sure, go for it, but you don't want to commit everything to it. So this is a huge mistake for BYUN. Let's take a look at how it goes. Okay, so he accidentally flies the lib forward. It is what it is. And then he's just kind of shoving his whole army into a choke point. So this is a really bad setup for BYUN. Why? Because he's just been producing. So he has a bunch of units that aren't in the fight yet, right? A few ghosts and stuff. But he also leaves 5 tanks behind on the high ground. Plus, he leaves these other tanks over here. So he's got 9 tanks that are not going to really help in this fight. These tanks here might get a couple shots off, but not much at all, right? Other thing, what's the other big problem we can see before it happens? All of his anti-Zergling is in one clump down here. How can he defend the top side? He has to go all the way around these tanks to get up there. And you can see a lot of those lings are probably going to go left and kill those tanks, right? So this is a really silly push for BYUN. It's an unnecessary risk. It's the sort of thing that can get you in trouble. He's also up 10 workers, which means 10 less army supply. And yeah, basically he doesn't really land many snipes. The lings and ultras kill the tanks so quickly, and there's enough banelings, so the ghosts don't really get to do their job. And even there, he's trying to snipe and he's just like losing them, and then he gets fungal. He saved those 8 ghosts. Like, so much money just went down. And there's ultras on the left that just cleaned through the tanks as well. And this, why are all your ghosts here, guys? Why are all the ghosts here? They should have been spread out. And if he had ghosts up here, he could have sniped these ultras during that fight, right? Because these ultras on the top, I bet they went up there on their own, right? Let's see what happened. Yeah, imagine if there's some ghosts here. Snipe, snipe, pop, 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 pop. Having all of his ghosts down here, huge positional mistake for BYUN. Huge positional mistake. But 10 times gas difference wouldn't matter. So the reason there's a 10 times gas difference is because SOO's mined more of his gas. But you've still got good gas income here. You've got gas. Ooh, actually these two are about to expire. Oh, that one's about to expire as well. Has he actually used all of his gas? Holy shit. How inefficient was he this game? Oh my god, he's actually spent all of his gas. You are right. I thought he still had at least a few thousand more. I mean, he needs to secure this base for sure, but he's literally completely out of gas mining. Ooh, that is rough. I still think he's fine because you are going to be able to just trade so efficiently on the defense. Pushing makes no sense. He definitely been trading poorly this game, like very poorly for Terran. BYUN played a pretty shit macro late game this one, but pushing in here basically confirms that you're going to lose. He doesn't necessarily win if he doesn't push it, but there's just no reason for his army to be here. He should be spread around this high ground, slowly branching a few tanks and units to the low ground, securing the command center, get those gases up, At the same time, try to mine this gas on the left if you can, because obviously that 2,000 gas is really, really valuable as well. But yeah. Cool. GG's. All right, let's go. He's got a big test in front of him. It's a rematch from earlier. SOO in the bottom right side, though, taking out BYUN in the late game. Can't believe it. Did not expect it. But MARU is a different beast. Now, to be fair, MARU kind of trounced SOO. It felt like SOO was still warming up, though. And I wonder how MARU's going to fare this time around. Because I think SOO's going to make a much better play to the mid game. And if SOO can get ahead, that could be very effective. All right, Command Center's there. 2 racks Reaper on the way. So we should be seeing the Command Center about 210. Yeah, just going to start that 3rd Reaper. 1 more SCV. Mule is dropped, and the Command Center goes down 210. 2 Queens coming out and pulling off gas there. Very nicely done. Only mines 4 extra gas past the 100. Old school, baby. I still remember the first time like learning a Zerg build order, and the guy on this like Team Liquid thread where he'd written this build order up, he was describing how you have to pull each worker off. He's like, from 88 gas, you want to pull worker off, then another one, then another. You know, this build needs to be optimized. You need every 4 minerals counts or whatever, or 5 minerals. And I was like, this is crazy. But I was like, I tried it, and I was like, you know what? It feels good. It feels good. And once you start adding that little level of just like tiny little details, you're like, ooh, there's something about the very minute optimizations that individually are utterly meaningless. And then you stack them on top of each other, and you form them into habits so they don't cost you anything, and you suddenly become a god of StarCraft. And that's what these 2 players have done 1,000 times over the last few years. Oh, Evo chamber block. SOO's so good at that, dude. I love his Evo box. This is really crisp. Oh, he's going to block him. At least 1 Reaper should go down here. Queens need to move left. Needs to move left. He should cut off the rotate home. One of those Reapers goes down. Nice move. Oh, he gets 2. Oh my god. Guys, MARU just got cucked. This early game is so good for SOO, because now SOO can easily take the 3rd without putting any more lings. This is amazing. He's going to get his 3rd down like before 3 minutes 40. And he's already on 36 workers, fully saturated 2 base, 4 queens. That was an exceptional start, guys. I told you, SOO was kind of warming up earlier. Now we have the new SOO. And you remember, I don't know the results. I literally went to sleep at 8:30 p.m. last night because I slept so poorly the night before. My throat was so sore. And after some saltwater gargles and my antibiotics kicking in, I'm like, whoa, my throat feels good. I'm going to go sleep for 12 hours. And I have not looked at any results. If SOO actually wins this, I will be so excited for him. It's very unlikely to happen. Ling speed into quick Roachor and 3 gas. He's going Ravager Ling all in? Ooh-wee. SOO's going for a Ravager Ling, guys. He's trying to fake like it's a macro build. If he could do a Ling run by, that would really set up for it. But, the depot's always going to be raised, isn't it? 9 Roaches on the way. Big Ravager Ling all in. Remember, the low ground wall-off's really vulnerable. Actually, this is just a checkmate. Double eBay can't defend this. Guys, if MARU manages to defend this with this build order, I will be stunned. I mean, yes, he's building Marines 3 at a time. I don't even know if he'll have Stim ready. 10 Roaches, many of which are going to morph into Ravagers. Mass Lings coming out as well. Wow. Okay, if he can hide the Roaches, it's definitely game over. But SOO's not... Wait, what's he... Oh, he's just going to... He's trying to wait. He's like, where are they? Okay, he sees the He's trying to hide it. Oh, no, he's... SOO's... Oh, my God, SOO, what are we doing? Guys, SOO's mind gaming himself right now. The Hellions have still not seen this. He's trying to sneak around, but dude, I think he's being way too silly with this. I think, yeah, SOO shows his hand now. This was unnecessarily fancy from SOO. I would have preferred him to just shove across the map. Dude, you can't waste any more time. You have to go. You have to go now. If he loses these Ravagers, that's actually really bad. But with the Lings there, should be good. Dude, he needs to continue forward, though. Oh, man, I feel like SOO's taking way too long to do this. He's playing... I really feel like this is such a clutch call to go for this Ravager Ling off this opening. But, oh, he's losing a lot of Lings to that Hellion as well. And that tank's going to get out. That tank shouldn't... I really didn't feel that tank was going to be out in time. He's droning up behind it, so he's not all in. Oh, man, the Marines coming on the ramp is kind of scary. from MARU if those Lings commit, but Su's going to back off now. He sees the tank. Oh, he's going to go for it with the tank? With the Overlord? No, Overlord's going to die to the Marines. Okay. Does this put you ahead as SOO, guys? Because you didn't throw your units away and you've gone back to droning? Is this actually worth it? My instincts tell me no. 1-1 upgrade's already done for Terran. He could start +2 attack. Probably don't bother with armor in this scenario because you're not going to have enough gas and money for everything. But yeah, +2 attack. Just +2 attack. That's the perfect call. And he even squeezes in +2 armor. Why not? 1-1 upgrades only now starting for SOO. So SOO's going to be down double upgrades, which means he will need a crazy unit count. A massive amount of units to keep up with MARU. I think MARU's perfectly fine. We'll see how we go. I definitely think it's a bigger map. It's hard to surprise them. But the natural wall-off, it is vulnerable to those sort of big Ravager Ling all-ins if you can surprise them. I do also think if SOO stopped at like 7 or 8 Roaches and committed to more Ravagers, it would have been really nice. I think if he goes 5-6 Ravagers, it might have been able to break him, but MARU was quick with the SCV pull, quick with his tank production. Clears a bit of creep, backs away, nothing too big here. 69 workers for SOO with a 4th base on the way. SOO very rarely gets a super fast 4th, which does, you could say, kind of curtail his explosive economic growth. On the other hand, you might be looking at this and going, oh, his supply is not that good. You know, you're on Roach Ravager, you want to have a really big supply gap. Is this enough? He's got 8 Overlords, all popping out over the last few seconds. 4 more about to pop. So he's going to be building nothing but Roach Ravager from here. MARU comes forward. Quite a few Marines dying. I think SOO's okay with that trade. Units lost tab dead even on both sides. Marines moving up the guts. Only 4 queens on this map. You lose 1 or 2 queens and you have almost no anti-air left in this game. Oh, get these queens out of here, man. Okay, Lings do come forward to support. And does push that back. Units lost tab now. A couple hundred in favor of MARU. MARU's going to 8 racks behind this. Which is interesting. He wants to do a big 8 racks aggressive play against a SOO who's doing a Roach Ravager Nidus all-in. So both players are doing massively committed 3-base timings into each other. If you don't spot the Nidus, maybe this works for SOO. Upgrades are huge for MARU. SOO not trying to disguise this. He's done hiding. Overseer moving into the north. If he gets that Nidus Worm up, I'm telling you, the ability to open up a new front can be massive. Tank positioning is okay, but I'm going to say the Bio Army's a little small. Even though his upgrades are good, MARU doesn't seem to have that much Marine Marauder on the front. He's got a lot more units rallying out. He's got another drop coming down here from the south to group up on the defense. Depot's getting picked off. Where's that Nidus Worm? Where is that Nidus Worm, my friend? Oh, big angle. I like this arc for SOO. Beautiful arc, but he's got to pull back. He's got to pull back. He's overcommitting. The 2-2 upgrade advantage is pretty big. The Biles do some good damage, but he's losing a lot of Ravagers. You got to keep your Ravagers alive. The 2-2, the firepower density of that 2-2 bio is huge. 20 SCVs do go down, so SOO has like a good economic advantage. I don't know, man. With an upgrade disadvantage like this, it's so awkward. Roaches are just spilling into the main base, but not as many as I thought. I thought we'd have like 15, 20 Roaches popping out. It looks like maybe a lot more didn't get inside the Nidus. I really thought like 20 Roaches would pop out and he'd be able to overwhelm that tank in the rally, but feels like MARU now is just playing cleanup. Gets on top of all of it. Yeah, I think he screwed up, guys. He should have had his units rallied into the Nidus Worm, but looked like he was still control grouping off eggs or something. Maybe a bit of muscle memory kicking in at the wrong time for SOO. And the 2-2 upgrade advantage with that many medevacs healing. Wow. Wow, MARU gonna hold on there. Oh, maybe a bad choice to go for the Ravager Ling. The opening was so good for SOO. I like the idea of trying to just get a brutal finish off. But after shutting down those Reapers at the start as smoothly as he did, part of me wishes he'd just got a crisp 1-0 advantage. But MARU fights back. The 2-2 upgrade advantage is just so good. And never having enough firepower to really overwhelm that concentrated core of Bio. Well played. All right. SOO, unfortunately, unable to break him in that one. He's going to go for a 13 Overlord here. MARU in the bottom right side. MARU once again is going for that 2-Rex Reaper wall-off. Now, I really feel like SOO shut it down in the last game, so I think MARU might be a little bit more conservative. Now, with this build, normally you'd send your first SCV out to build the depot, the first one that you build, but obviously, because this is a longer travel path, He sent that down earlier, so he had to pull an SCV off mining. I think basically you start building SCVs, and then after one of your first ones returns minerals, you bring it down. Build the depot. The moment the depot's done, you start the barracks, and then a gas right after that. Unless you're doing a 3 command center build with a marine first. He's doing a 1-Rex wall-off. Okay, so this is a different build order. He's going to build 2 marines and try to snipe the overlord with this. He'll lift the barracks as well to spot the pillar where it normally hides. The reason we know this is because the gas is later than normal. He will not have 50 gas to start a Reaper when the barracks finishes. So this is actually just a build where he wants to deny SOO's information and then go for the command center. Now, the reason why this build normally is bad against SOO is SOO normally doesn't overlord scout. And what I mean by that is this is peculiar. SOO must have changed his overlord scouting pattern recently, and this must be something MARU knows about. Because historically, SOO would send 1 overlord up here to scout for proxy racks and 1 down here. And he would just maybe eventually arrive at the front with an overlord like 3 minutes into the game. But often SOO plays completely blind. MARU must have studied his overlord path on this map and known that he likes to send this overlord straight across, which is a little uncharacteristic for SOO. So he's going to wait for 2 marines, move them out, snipe the overlord. Command center does start up behind this, and it's a little bit earlier than normal command center because he was a bit slower on the gas mining, which means he'd mined a little bit more minerals. And I think we're going to go factory, apparently, rather than 3rd command center. Fair enough. So you see now the marines show themselves. One's going to go to the low ground, one's going to stay on the high ground. So if the overlord goes in a direction, it's still getting shot. And your best bet as SOO here is to stay out of range of 1 overlord, 1 marine, just to survive as long as possible. You're never going to keep it alive, but as long as you just commit to one side like he has, you basically allow yourself to spend as much money as possible building other things, build an extra overlord, and you'll be fine. Second gas coming in for MARU. So no 3 command center. Interesting. Interesting. So he's gone for the factory. Started just after 2 minutes. It's going to rally onto that second gas. Interesting. We should see him rally back to the minerals now because he needs 1 more worker on minerals before he rallies to the natural. Oh, the lings! But he's got to pull the SCVs. See, the marines need to stutter step here. If he can get away from the Zerglings. Oh my god, he's going to lose them all. Is he though? Is he though? Oh, the SCVs saved the day. Okay. Very good hold. You see, very frustrating. If you don't manage to win that fight and the lings kill your reactor or block you from landing the factory, that can get really bad. Good attempt for SOO. I still think it's worth it running the lings in. But MARU does manage to avert catastrophe. Now, I am casting this game a bit more from MARU's point of view, as per a request from a viewer. So they were trying to learn Terran build orders more. Just give you guys a bit more insight on MARU's view, since I know I have been ignoring it over SOO's viewpoint a little bit. 3 overlords are building right now. SOO just droning on up, building a 4th queen. First Hellions going to poke forward. Now their job is just to check everything looks normal, pick off any stray creep tumors if they can, but you don't want to take any damage. You don't want to let those queens get free hits on you. And notice this is forcing SOO to be very conservative with his creep tumor placement, because if he builds them on the edge, he knows the Hellions will kill him. Now he's gone for a 3rd command center behind this, and then he's gone for the double engineering bay. Of course, he lifted off the barracks and the reactor to swap, but now that he's built 4 Hellions, he said that's enough. I only want a small Hellion commitment. Oh, he's going to dive. He's going to dive. Remember the Hellion run by. Oh, the Hellion run by did get in as well on post-youth against SOO there. Really good scrambling with his drones. The lings going to try and deal with this along with the queens. This is good handling. I think 6 drones is acceptable losses. I think that's fine, because he shuts it down relatively quickly, gets back to droning, and that gives up MARU's map control. So I think SOO's okay there. He's also gone Roach Warren 2 gas, but he is droning very hard. He's not going to do anything aggressive. So notice MARU went 3rd command center, double engineering bay. Those are really good setting up for the long game. He builds a 2nd barracks on the reactor, and then he goes for a starport. And the factory is building the reactor ready for the starport to swap immediately onto that. Takes the same amount of time, 36 seconds for a starport, 36 seconds for a reactor. And that's going to allow him to build 2 medevacs. And by the time those 2 medevacs pop, he'll have 16 marines out of the barracks. And he'll go and start pressuring with medevac marine. Next, he's jumping up to the standard 2 base production. 3 more barracks at once. It's going to make 5 barracks factory starport production. And of course, after that, you can go 3 more barracks, or you can go straight for a 2nd factory, or you can go straight for the 4th command center, then go for the 2nd factory. He'll obviously need to get the armory soon as well, so that he can start 2-2 when 1-1 finishes. You can see he starts that right now. So it's a very standard sort of setup for MARU. Nothing too crazy, just looking to get to a normal bio game. I do like this change up. I feel like SOO's disjointed evolution chamber timing has served zero function today in the GSL. And I think going double Evo is way smarter this time around. Three more reactors building. You want 4 reactors, 1 tech lab on your first 5 barracks in this matchup. And the only reason you really want the tech lab is just to get these upgrades. You're on pure marine until you get closer to maxed out. Laz almost finished here. Drones pumping. 5 gases, 6th gas goes down. Notice what I said about SOO never rushes his 4th base. He's always very conservative with his 4th base timing. And this means MARU doesn't really have to worry about, oh, what if he's rushed to 4th base? I better get in there and cancel that. And that's one of the weaknesses of SOO, is that you're not as worried about him being greedy. Because he's, yeah, he'll be greedy up to 3 base, but very rarely into the 4th base of workers. Alright, Marines coming in, cleaning up creep, getting a few roaches. You don't want to trade for too long though. MARU does lose a couple Marines, not too bad. So MARU started 2-2, but he hasn't made a decision yet on what he wants to do next. And there we go, he's going to go 8 racks. So MARU's going an 8 racks build, which is a very aggressive 3 base push. This is not very good against SOO, because SOO is a player who usually goes for an all-in of his own. I usually feel like second factory, extra tank production, turtling is really good against SOO. However, I think what MARU is saying is like, look, if I just have more bio, I can defend the 1-1 roach all-in, and then I can like potentially counterattack and kill him, and just gives me more freedom, especially if he goes tech labs on these 3 barracks. That being said, MARU might just be playing a build. He might be assuming that this is a hive tech transition when it's not. It's a 1-1 roach all-in. MARU, if he unsieges and moves out, this is a very bad call. Because SOO is planning a 3-base roach ravager. MARU's planning an 8 racks all-in. This is pretty much what was happening earlier. I don't know, was that one of the BYUN SOO games? There was a game earlier today with this exact same sort of setup. All right, Marine tank hanging out there. Queens, roaches, ravagers gathering up on the front. I like that MARU's leaving his tanks at home. He is building 11 Marines, so he's not building in add-ons or marauders. I don't know about committing to this trade. Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit of an overcommitment there. Units lost tab. Yeah, trading efficiently, but could probably be a little bit more efficiently. Remember, the trick against Roach Ravager is to max out. MARU should scan that 4th base since he has no scouting there. And upon seeing no workers, all he should do is turtle at home and pull the workers. Why is he moving out? Guys, MARU's not scouting. MARU, why are we moving out right now? MARU! Rule 101, this is why MARU always loses to Rogue. It's because he always moves out against Roach all-ins. It's just why? Why? MARU! You haven't seen a single drone on the 4th base yet, and yet he's built all of his depots on his 3rd, and he's moving out for an all-in for some reason. He's all-inning into an all-in from the Zerg. This game's going to get really messy, and this could still work out, especially if he gets a good hold with a few tanks at home. These Marines on the left are getting wrecked by the Roach Queen surround, though. But as the Marine tank comes in from there, that's going to be pretty effective. SOO's maxed out right now. Let's see how well he can trade as the Marines shove in on top. MARU going to blitz right through those. Hot knife through butter right now. Overlord's starting to go down. That's actually problematic because the Overlord stops him from rebuilding. Tanks are going to siege on the high ground. He's trying to spread them out, but there's no support. Oh man, those roaches on the high ground. If they kill these tanks, that's massive. 1 tank falls. Biles spreading across the front line there. The Marines try to pick up. Yeah, MARU just played this pretty blind, guys. MARU basically picked an 8 racks build from the start, and he just assumed SOO was going for a Hiveling Bane transition. If he scanned the 4th or sent a drop up here or anything, seeing no drones would have made it blatantly obvious that SOO was actually doing his own all-in, but MARU playing very greedy, playing a little bit blind, and he's been punished for that this game. Because SOO now has 4 bases, right? Yeah, his 3rd's rebuilding. He's on 4 bases. MARU's only on 2. So MARU's in a very awkward position. 3-3 upgrades are on the way right now. He desperately needs that 3rd to be mining. He's going to try and make tech labs and make that Marauder transition that I talked about. Should SOO have left some forces at MARU's base? He had tank there and a lot of Marines. SOO didn't know that MARU was supply blocked, but building all those depots out front of your 3rd, generally not a good call against Roach Ravager because of that exact same thing. I remember 2018, 2019, Katowice, every time MARU played Rogue, I was like, please, if you see roaches, don't build depots at your 3rd. Gives so much extra value to the Roach Ravager player. Oh, dude, the Biles and the Choke are real scary. He's got another tank up north. That tank needs to unsiege. Get out, get out, get out. Oh my gosh. Too slow, too slow. Where's the medevac pickup? Yeah, I think Maru's just done in this game, man. He just played a preset build that he'd optimized and planned out before the game started, and he forgot to scout to check that it was the right build for the situation, because as long as he doesn't move out, he's got the better progression. Marine tank scales really well into the late game. Roach Ravager scales like spilt milk. I'll tell you what, guys, like think of it this way. Think about like some nice like fudge that like just lasts like a few weeks even outside of the fridge, you know, as long as you keep it wrapped up tight. That's what Maru had in his marine tank. Sue, on the other hand, he had a bunch of milk that you've poured on the ground and is within like a few hours starting to smell funky. Roach Ravager does not scale well, so all you need to do, keep that fudge wrapped up. But Maru picked up his fudge, threw it on the ground in the milk, smashed it around in it, and then tried to eat it. And he made this game a little bit harder than it needed to be. Sue kept it simple. Just a 1-1 Roach Ravager, 3 base timing. It's a good way to play StarCraft generally. Not normally what's going to take care of Maru, unless your name's Rogue. Rogue always beat Maru with this build so many times over the years. So many times Maru got blocked from Katowice finals because Rogue would beat him in those really close series. How is Sue unable to finish Maru? There's just no reason to, guys. That's all. He's just playing safe. He's like, hey, I'm busy defending the drop. Why shove up a tiny ramp? He's out of mining in his main pretty much. Like, yeah, I can just wait, you know. So it's not, why can't he finish him? It's just like, yeah, I'll just play extra safe. No worries. There's no pressure on him to finish him, right? Now, to be fair, that's a good counter drop by Maru. Maru gets out here, sneaks around, takes out 1 hatchery, takes out 2 hatcheries. He's gonna try and stand and fire. 3-3 against 1-1. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's 3-3 against 1-1. The upgrades are insane. Luckily, there's like 6 roaches for every marine. 2-2 is almost done for Sue, but yeah, I just realized how huge the upgrade difference was. Earlier, Maru was supply blocked and had no army at home. Why not send units up Maru's main? Oh, you mean here? Guys, you got to realize the players can only see certain things. So Sue didn't see the army leave, number one, and you never know when your opponent's supply blocked. I've seen a few questions in chat about why doesn't the player do so-and-so when the other guy's supply blocked. You never know when your opponent's supply blocked. It would have been really good if he ran up the ramp for sure, but gotta realize limited information. That's how StarCraft works. Okay, is Maru seriously staying in here? Maru has made some disgusting comebacks before. I mean, Sue sometimes struggles with drops. Like, can we just drop a Spire, Sue, please? Can we just, like, make a few Corruptors? He's gonna make Infestors. That's hilarious. He's trying to... Can we maybe just make a Spire, bro? I mean, this is... He's got a bunch of drones in his army as well. Sue's actually panicking a little bit. He's like, I'm taking a game off Maru. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Oh, fungal bile! I gonna do shit. That's hilarious. Yeah, that doesn't do anything. Sorry for the French, guys. Excuse my per Inglando. Roach Ravager coming up. Oh, it's a lot of Marine Marauder to lose. Sniping Hatchery is nice, but Maru can't be affording these trades. Remember that upgrade disparity will be disappearing as the Hive's about to finish, so 3-3 will be coming in soon. Marauder drop on the left being a nuisance. Almost goes down, not quite. But Sue killed a lot of depots at the third, so he knew he was supply blocked. I mean, yeah, if you stop to think about it, you realize while that's happening, he was getting pushed by Marine tank as well. Guy in the chat. Don't get me wrong, if he thought about it, he could have. But you also don't know how many units are building. Like, if there's 2 factories building tanks, there could still be 3 tanks out at the rally point. Pushing into that production can be very nasty. Don't get me wrong, SOO absolutely could have committed to the base trade. He had the numbers to push through. But it wasn't the better decision. We need to go back and assess it. We can do that after the game if we want. Final big Roach Ravager attack. Dude, Maru's defending pretty... Dude. No. Surely not. Double upgrade advantage. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. Dude, if Maru comes back and wins this game, it's going to be sick. I very much doubt it. There's only 2 medevacs alive, so we can't even heal his bio. But I'm like, man, that would just be an epic throw. 4th command center is down, except it's not the 4th. It's the main base that lifted. 3-3's halfway down. Oh, he's got Vipers as well. Blinding Cloud plus Fungals? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Guys, I'm sure SOO's a pretty athletic guy, but I don't think he's a MLB pitcher. I don't think he's a Major League Baseball pitcher. I don't think he can throw that hard, okay? Don't get me wrong. Playing Zerg for this many years may indeed be hurting his elbows, but I don't think he can throw this one. This would be, numbers-wise, difficult to throw away. I mean, his work account's not huge, but that's kind of the right call in this situation if you want to keep being aggressive to make sure you have overwhelming army. It's going to go again. I mean, any unit he picks off is huge, right? Gets a tank and a couple Marauders, denies some mining down there, gets a few SCVs. Happy to take these small trades. Uh-oh, got to get out of there. Double drop coming in. The Queen starts running away. A few more Roaches are coming out. Transfuse? Transfuses would be nice. He's going to try and drop a couple of them. Focusing the medevacs also could be pretty big to at least punish Maru for this move. And a few Marauders and Marines do go down. Not all that much. Why did Maru stay in this game? I think we're seeing why. Because he's making this look kind of competitive. That being said, he's down 60 army supply. A couple Blinding Clouds could be game ending here. Also, very little medevac healing available. 4 medevacs on the map. Here we go. I'd love to see SOO split his army up, but SOO is always a bit of a meat cleaver Zerg, guys. He's the butcher, you know. He's Pudge. He just he likes to just friggin' fight front on in a big old blob. He's gonna split some units to the right. They're just gonna get stuck on the terrain. Blinding Clouds on the tanks are massive though. Not to mention on the Marine Marauder. Bungle doing pretty good as well. Bio's landing on one of those tanks, not quite enough to take it out. Remember, there's so little healing available here. I think it's a good pullback for SOO. Mix in some more lings to absorb the tank shots. And take your time with it, man. SOO. Okay, now, someone earlier was like, can't SOO just finish it? Why? Yeah. I'm with you guys now. I'm with the backseat Twitch chatters going, can't you just finish the... I agree. Split 30 Roaches to run into the production, you know? And then jump on the tanks. I don't know. Transition to Broodlords. Add melee upgrades. Anything. It's... SOO's, I don't know if he's playing with his food or he's screwing around, but he's definitely taking longer to finish this than he should. Because his work account's not really moving forwards. He's just got his 5th base up. Like, I start to feel a little nervous that Maru might make the comeback. And don't get me wrong, guys, this is good play by Maru. Maru likes to always do this. This is something you should practice as a StarCraft player, is making sure your opponent has to work to finish you off. This drops a bit bad play, though. It's SOO. SOO's just going to go again, and Maru missing some of that bio is going to actually really cost him. The double drop, yes, it'll do counter damage, but dude, if he gets hit by a fungal, dude, he's got to watch out. If he gets hit by the fungal, this could be really bad. He can't, yeah, okay, good spread, good spread. Pull back, pull back, pull back. The bio tank in a nice line. He's going to have to pull the SCVs to try and hang on. Blinding Clouds are massive. The bio trying to hold the SCVs there as well. Blinding Clouds wearing off those tanks. Those tanks going to continue to fire. There aren't many units on the front line. Dude, SOO's supply is so low. SOO might actually lose this game to the counter drop. Counter drop's going to come in. Oh my gosh. This is actually surprisingly close. Dude, Maru from 6 inches below, 6 feet, sorry, below the ground. 6 inches, I must have been thinking somewhere else. He manages to punch his way almost out of the grave. I don't think it's enough. Even though he kills those 2 hatcheries, there's still a 5th base mining here. He saves some of the units. He's out of minerals, so that's the problem, right? He can't secure a fall. He's going to try and drop some mules down the bottom, but SOO just barely has enough units in order to break through. Extra infestors on the way, adrenal glands as well. Yeah, MARU has this magical ability to make players that normally look like gods look almost like they're panicked or something, you know? They're like, oh gosh, I don't believe in my own abilities. That's how MARU does it. Yeah, I'm thinking of, I think it was Nightshade. There was a MARU Solar game that the SC2 Highlights channel did like a little edit of, where they just took like the key moments of it, where I think he was up, Solar was up like 100 supply on him and he just could not kill him. Similar scenario, Roach Ravager. Because it's always with Roach Ravager, it's that army that's kind of hard. It's very good in the open field, but actually killing a Terran with it, unless you surprise them with a big attack, is very tough. MARU, he's got hidden bases mighty, but he's like, you know what? I have a bit of respect for the audience. Not a massive amount, a little bit. I'm going to stop wasting you guys' time. I'm going to tap out. All right, that was crazy. But, I mean, it all comes down to moving out without scouting. MARU just did not scout. If he didn't move out with his first attack, he never would have been behind in that game in the first place. So, a bit lazy on the scouting, now finds himself up, tied up 1-1. And if MARU goes out in the round of 8, man, that would be a disaster for him. Not something we'd expect. Be huge for SOO. Is it considered rude or bad-mannered to stay in a game after that kind of advantage? In a competitive setting, at least. It's never rude to stay in the game in that sort of scenario. Now, if you're just trying to waste time, not actually win, that's a different story. But your opponent needs to finish you off, and it's really not that hard to finish your opponent off. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're just floating buildings around in the corner, that's a different thing. There will be people on ladder who say it's so rude that you didn't leave the game. We've seen this multiple times when I do my Salt Mines show, where we look at people incoherently raging on the ladder. People will be like, oh, you lost the game, but you were rude. You refused to leave after losing. And then I stopped trying, and that's the only way you won. And you're like, that's like a very long-winded way of saying, I'm an idiot, and you beat me. You know? That's like, that's all I hear when someone says that. They're like, well, you lost, but then you didn't leave when you lost. And that's like why I was distracted. So then, like, it's just the copious thing ever. Especially with pros and tournaments, no, you have to finish them off. And there are players, Cyril in 2018, especially MARU. There's a bunch of these guys who, like, they'll just make you work harder to finish them off. And it puts this amount of psychological pressure on the opponent, because you're like, oh God, if I'm ahead, I need to make sure I don't let it slip away, because this guy's so hard to put in the ground. He just makes you work harder, and it adds to their aura of invincibility and the ability to play from behind. Just super relaxed and just be comfortable in that scenario and just make your opponent work really hard. It's just good practice. It's really good practice. MARU looks very relaxed and zen. Like, you'll often see him make a big mistake in a game and he gets way behind, and you see him have like a little reaction where he like raises an eyebrow, tilts his head a bit or something. He's kind of like, and then he just keeps playing, super chilled out. And I guarantee you it was the same in that last game where he's like, well, I'm probably pretty dead, but you know, sometimes Zergs throw, see what we can do. And it costs you nothing. It really costs you nothing. And it's just good for your mindset. You know, I think in general, players who are like, oh God, I'm losing. Oh, and then like, you know, it's like their reality's crumbling around them because they're losing the game. I'm like, this is not a good competitive mindset. Like practicing playing from all situations is just good practice. And it's good for calming you down. Why did MARU decide to GG? Was he not getting back into it? I mean, because he had no mining left. Even though he'd hidden those bases, he knew he wasn't going to keep them up for long. And he scanned SOO's 5th. And he saw that the 5th base, ooh, cancels the reactor and the tech lab. Dude, this falling run by, he hit it for so long. And I was like, well, that's not going to do anything. But he was waiting until the Reapers were on his side of the map and the add-ons were building. Double add-on cancel? Dude, that's sick. I mean, to be fair, he is losing a queen and a bunch of drones. So his defense isn't great. The pull first opening, I think he was expecting a 2-Rax Marine bunker push, and pull first would have really set him up well against that. But he gets another cancel on the add-on as well. And this is very good damage for him. Even doing a little bit of Zergling micro there as well. But the Reapers are here. They're going to get us another drone. I feel like SOO needs to start that 3rd base right now. If he wants to come out on top of this at all, or not too far behind. Look at that. He splits the healthy Reaper up there. SOO wants that Reaper kill so bad that he's actually letting it just go. And he doesn't even get the Reaper. Oh my God. So the other Reaper jumps out of the base. This one gets 2 more drones. Chat's pointing out apparently SOO lost the Overlord to the Marine as well yet again. Oof. Which is a big mistake, actually. 3 Reapers were built. You should not be losing the Overlord if they build 3 Reapers first. That's really weird, actually. I'll have to go... Yeah, why was this Overlord still so far forward? Or maybe he kept it on the pillar. Either way, good catch by MARU. MARU's in a good position. 3rd Command Center's upgrading. Double Engineering Bay. He's got Marines building, Hellions building. He'll start Stim soon, no doubt, after those 1-1 upgrades start. Meanwhile, 3rd Hatchery only about halfway done for SOO. He's going to start a Roach Warren and a 2nd gas. Sign of aggression, potentially. I think it's too late to make Ravagerling work, though. So it does seem like it's going to be a drone game from SOO. He's going to try and play the macro game here. The macro game against MARU, the macro god. Ooh. Reaper Hellion, good choice to not overcommit there. 3 more Overlords building for SOO. His lair is on the way. Double Evo chamber goes down at 512. I love this change up with the double Evo. I think it's better. We've got an armory going down way earlier than needed, guys. That means he's doing a Hellbat Marine timing. That's not good against Roaches. It's good against the Zergling style. Has he not seen the Roach Warren? He hasn't. The Roach Warren's been hidden on that right side. This is MARU's vision. Still being a bit of a nuisance here, but the Queens do come over, deflect the Reaper Hellion. That's only 5 Hellions. I mean, 5 Hellbats is not too crazy. It obviously deals with the Zerglings very well, but with only 8 Zerglings out, I think SOO should be able to get out his Roaches in time. Early game feels like it was MARU favored, though, so SOO's just a bit behind the curve, right? Look at the workers. Yes, he's up 14 workers, but he needs to start making Roaches because these guys are about to move out. And he's only just started his first 4 Roaches. He's going to go up to 68 workers. 66 at least, sorry, before anything else. Medevacs boosting forward. Ling's coming in for a run by. I love the Ling's coming in for the run by. Stim is finishing right there, dude. If he ran in and cancelled Stim just before that finish, that would have been amazing. Ling's are going to go in. Does he go for the add-ons or does he go for the run by on the 3rd? Goes for the run by into the natural. Good SCV pool though. Marines will defend. And that's an easy hold. Back at home. 5 Roaches out. 9 more building. Is that enough to hang on? Uh-oh. Queens are in the open. Marines are going to take care of them very quickly. Gets rid of those building creep tumors. That Queen goes down. Roaches starting to fall. Hellion's getting ready for a run by on the natural. Roaches just barely enough to deal with these Marines, maybe. But look at the natural. That's where the damage could come in. MARU is roasting and toasting right now. Roaches blocking the ramp, though. Has to go left now. He's got to try and get any damage he can. The Marines on the front still not dying. Oh, this is so bad for SOO. This was not that committed the timing attack for MARU. And yet SOO's losing over a dozen workers, all of his Queens and Roaches. And it's still not done. Still 2 Marines left on the front line, gunning down extra drones. And that is massive, probably game-ending damage. 2-1 units lost in favor of MARU. After screwing around in the last game, it looks like he's decided to get serious. Double down. Double drop on the left side, going to go for the 4th. More Marines and tanks are building. 3 more barracks up here on the high ground. And another 3. So it's 8 racks once again. I think MARU's decided that if he plays 8 racks, he can't really die. So it's just a good way of keeping him safe. And with how far ahead he is, I think it's an easy way to finish the game. Let's be real, Oliveira made 8 racks look kind of broken in Dallas. And I think MARU's learning from our Chinese world champion. 8 racks, 8 racks, 8 racks. Just got to scout before you move out normally. Yeah, good lift. Just lift, pull back. SOO sacrifices his 4th. This is a Roach Ravager poke, though. I wouldn't call this a very powerful attack. I love the way the tanks shuffle back. Getting rid of the reactor in the tech lab on the starport and factory is pretty huge. Double drop goes into the main base right now. There's only 1 Queen alive. That is the only anti-air that SOO has. And look at the way MARU goes in there and evicts these drones from the mineral line. Says, get out, mate. Happy to chill on 2-base mining is MARU. Because he's got mules. He's got better unit quality. And he just needs to make sure he doesn't die right here, right now, because he knows that SOO's economy sucks. Marine's trying to come in. He says, you know what? Actually, I can fight these Roaches. Focuses the drones even. A little bit tricksy. 2-2 upgrades now done for MARU. 2-2 has not started for SOO. SOO was on 52 drones for a while. He's now trying to rebuild Queens. No 2-2. No fourth base, no drones. He's all in. Triple drop, unnecessary. Unnecessary. Super unnecessary. Oh gosh. SOO gonna Jorge Masvidal him? I don't think so, man. I don't think Maru's Ben Askren at this point of his career, no matter what people say after Dallas. Biles coming down. Ravager's trying to pull back. Oh! Marine's going to try to drop on the other side. Roach Ravager's trying to pull back. Biles landing across some of those SCVs. The Marines are going to start killing his hatcheries. This forces his hand. He's got to go in. But SOO just can't get the wall off down. If he can't get the wall off down, how can he get in? He's only managed to kill a few SCVs. He's finally getting in, but now the bio can stem forward. And that is a massive bio with a 2-2 to 1-1 upgrade advantage. Biles will take out one of the tanks. The other tank barely surviving. Biles actually spread across the Marine Marauder line quite well as well. But SOO gets overwhelmed and overrun, and MARU just looks too good there in that game. SOO not able to defend those early Reapers was really the trick, guys. Even though that Ling run by was kind of genius, his opening just didn't set himself up for success. Going for such a conservative pool first build and just not having his queens in the right positions at the right times looked like it was going okay. You know, it was like, yeah, whatever, okay, bit of mining time loss, not a big deal. Yeah, your Ling speed's a little slower, but that's okay. But then the lack of the fourth queen here, these two queens being a bit too slow to reinforce and starting to take too much damage, even though those Lings did a great counterattack. These two queens not pulling together there was really sloppy. And I think part of this is SOO messed up on his Overlord positioning. This Overlord should have been further back to watch the Reapers on the ledge. You could tell he thought the Reapers were going to leave, so he moved his queens back to the natural. That leads to his queen dying, which leads to this blossoming out of control. So SOO messed up on the Reaper defense. He really needed to be extra careful with no Ling speed and no Lings at home. His Lings did a great job on the other side, but his defense at home just didn't quite cut it. Really well played by MARU, who of course went back in a moment to get even more damage. And just hats off to MARU for taking it out. Gets through the group despite a shaky run-in with Cure. Hats off to Cure and MARU for getting to the top 4 of GSL. GG, well played.